Yeah. It's
Okay.
just P1 has.
We
Not
are
everything.
live now. You guys ready? Even I should have asked that before I went live.
Not really.
No, but sure.
Perfect.
We have no choice now. Why is Leon here?
Why is who here?
No, never mind.
Okay, anyway. I think we're live. You guys see it? I don't know why I do this every time. We're live. Hello, everyone. Today we will be covering the Valentine Fantasy new content for Transients and ARs. Joining us today is Milk.
Hello.
You're kind of quiet. Make sure you speak up when we continue. Zalgus.
Hello again. It's me.
There he is. And Erbie.
Hello.
Alright,
Hi,
everyone
Lisa.
is back. And I just cut off Erbie because I'm a rude bastard. Sorry.
Testing.
Sorry. Anyway, let's just hop right into it. We're going to be starting with the ARs, I believe. Yeah, it is super early for various reasons, but we'll not get into it right now. We will be starting with... What is this AR? It is the Akiha Gongen AR that is a 3-star. You are able to obtain this AR by playing through the event, and it will be rewarded as a drop quest item that is dropped. And you're also able to redeem 80 copies from the item exchange. So make sure you get close to maxing it. You can get at least 80. And if you grind hard enough, you can actually max it up to 100. You know, the usual deal. So what this AR does is it provides you immunity to doubt, and it also gives you a very meaty heal with a very generous activation condition, although kind of slightly stringent HP condition of if you have less than 50 HP, if you have 50% of your HP or less, then you will heal 500 HP, presuming you maxed your AR. And that's pretty much it for the effects. I would say this is quite good for various reasons. Now, Milk brought up in our previous discussion about comparisons to the Kyuma Snow AR from the anniversary. So I decided to do a review of all ARs recently, of the ones that offered healing, at least the ones that you can max that offer healing. And the ones that we have in comparison are the Kyuma Snow AR, which was from Anniversary. And that one gives you 400 HP post debuff at 80%, and 400 HP to self whenever you miss at 60%. And that actually, on average, offers less than this AR if provided your unit is not being debuffed as well. So if they're just, missing every turn. And other comparisons also include the Tsathoggua Pokekechi AR, which was just released in the previous banner. And that one is 400 HP to self if unmoved. So it's slightly less HP for quite stringent condition. It could be good if... That AR could be good if you just keep them at the front end or back end, you're not moving them. But if you do want to move them, this AR is superior for the sense that you're just getting more HP. And also the fact that it can still activate. Now, the more direct comparison would be the Tsathoggua Nomad AR, which heals 400 HP every time you move, up to 100% rate if you max that AR. And this AR, the present AR here, heals a bit more, but it has that condition of you have to be 50 HP or less, 50% HP or less. And I would say that this AR would be better if, strictly speaking, if you were just using it on tanks that were reliant on damage reduction strategies. So, because in the end, what matters is if you're able to out-heal the damage and this AR might provide you the edge to actually out-heal the damage. So even if you're at 50% health or less, as long as you're out-healing the damage, then you should be fine. But if you're not able to out-heal the damage, then perhaps the Tsathoggua Nomad AR is better, just so that you are reducing that slope of losing your health over the past coming turns. Those are all my thoughts on this AR, and except for, I do have recommendations, tanks, but that's not very insightful. So, the usual stuff: Fruit Fumi, Snow, Rio, Festival variant, Valentine Margus, regular Yule, Marchosia, regular Yasuyori, regular Kushi, the list goes on. But yeah, those are just some examples. Those are all my thoughts for this AR. And any thoughts from you guys?
I'm sure this thing will be more useful if they ever add someone whose condition actually overlaps. Or pretty much anyone who wants to be above 51% health. We've been getting stuff like that with like Christmas Jiraiya, who needs to be above 80% health or something like that to actually do damage. So we might get someone fitting these conditions in future who wants to be above 50% health before they do X. So could be useful for that.
On that note, I do think it could be neat to, like, if you want some safety because you're weenie while using limit, but you do want to exploit limit's effects at the same time too.
So my thoughts were that this is really good if you're like really low HP, but you're rolling for evasion instead of guts, because usually those strategies don't work, because if you're at 1 HP you just die, even if you have evasion. But this 500 gives you a good buffer. But I guess this only matters if you care about using stupid people like Nyarl 4, or like people with Storm Dancer. So yeah.
Yeah, for like those more trickier kinds of tanks that aren't through damage reduction, but through like powerful buffs like evasion or guts, it could be useful for them.
I'm not really a fan of these conditional effects, so I don't have much to say that wasn't said already about that effect, so I'll just say that if the Left Wonder starts making quests where enemies actually apply doubt, this is going to be very useful, because doubt is a pretty potent debuff, and it will probably shut down if there's no countermeasures against a single unit very quickly. So that's pretty neat that we have. I didn't think we'd get a doubt immunity AR before other sorts of immunities, like and stuff like that. But here we are. That's pretty neat.
Doubt hasn't been a threat lately, but then again, I haven't been playing Chapter 12 and 13, so
it hasn't. That's what I said before. But if it does eventually, because it's actually one of the newer debuffs and all that came out just last year. If it happens,
yeah,
I don't think it will.
I
don't think it will, but if it does, it's going to be very useful.
Well, I guess that's some input about the doubt part, which I completely neglected to mention. I kind of just saw that and I was like, I'm never going to use it, but if I remember, whenever that comes up, it could be useful, I guess, if I decide not to just use someone like Aizen or something.
I think the HP part is the part there. I don't really like this AR's effects that much, to be honest, but if I do use this AR, I think I will use it for sure for the doubt. If I use it, not for the HP at all.
I mean, the heal being turn start instead of at the end of the turn, like every other condition, is certainly something.
Yeah, it's like you don't need to move them, but you also don't need to keep them unmoved. It's quite, generous if you ask me, even if the condition is low HP. As I said, it doesn't really matter what the total HP is, as long as they have enough to, have like take certain large hits, and as long as they're out healing, then it's fine. And this is almost as much as Blessing, so I think that's like pretty good, almost like a permanent Blessing AR for what is ostensibly just 3-star in the end.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I'll use it on stupid people like Makara. Yeah.
Alright, I think that's everything we have to say about this ARs. I do have one thing. Kyuma is so cute here. I cannot believe this. Like, Kyuma's base art is so whatever, but like, holy shit. I look at his face here and I'm like, holy shit, he's cute. Anyways, I'm gonna go.
Their hands are really big.
Apparently this is the same artist of Saruta Hiko, so take that as you will.
Yeah, it's that guy who drew the Tetsuwax Hanuman AR. Yeah, he looks better. I mean, his art looks better here. But yeah.
I feel like most people, every time Kyuma is depicted by any other artist, it's usually a lot better than his base art. I wonder why. But yeah, they really did him a solid here. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and read the comments. Hello, Vivid Waivers. Leaked indeed. Chair Bear. Ohio gozaimasu. It's time. Hype. Super early. We demand 4 stones. We'll get enough, I'm sure. Every single event start usually gives some stone bonus, and this one's no exception. Hi guys, the band is back together. Yes, I am so happy that everyone's here again, albeit at a different time. The boys, I really like Kyuma and Akiha, so I'm pretty happy they got an AR together. Yeah, you know, I feel like there was something about the way Akiha was presented was that he was forgettable, but at the same time, like, I couldn't deny that I liked his art and also his background and also his kit. So it was kind of a shame that he fell out of the wayside so early. So it's nice to see some relevance from him again. That is to say, hello, Bara, Herb, Zalgus, and Milk. Hello, Xavier. The invaders have doubt and possession, so maybe the rest of chapter 17. Yeah, that's what I'm suspecting too. Healing AR, but gives more attack stat than HP. Think. I mean, it's so minuscule either way that I like completely didn't even look at it until just now when he mentioned it. Erbie hugs. Everyone loves Erbie. Kyuma is cute. I'll fix that for you. Yeah, he is. He's so cute. Kalme Powercraft. Yeah, might need to find a new adoptive artist. Kirby waving, and yeah, Hyde did Kyuma justice for sure. Hello, Zeno. You didn't miss much. We were just finishing up the 3-star AR, which was the first thing we're coming in the batch, and now we will be moving into the next topic, which will be the Kalki Hati AR. This will be covered by Erbie. So go ahead.
Nice slide.
Right. This AR would be really, really good if it didn't have such shitty percentage. Essentially what this AR does is, after attacking, it has a 40 to 80% chance to give 6 CP to the ally directly behind the unit that has this AR equipped. And also a 50 to 100% chance to apply Spirit, but we don't talk about that part because what is really important here is that's 6 CP. Unfortunately, the fact that it's 40%, it means that it is actually not as good as it seems, because it's going to be failing more times than it's going to succeed. But there are characters that can equip this AR and can hit the entire board. And the character is exactly on the art, which is Kalki. Actually, a legitimately good AR for him, because he will be able to charge whoever is behind him, which is probably going to be someone that is already buffing him. More on that probably later, but yeah, I think it's a good AR to give units, frontliners, specifically frontliners, so that they can support their allies behind them. That's honestly why the conditions are slash range, low range, and long slash units. I'd say the major unit to equip this on is probably Kalki. I would say other units with weapon change as well, but I don't really think they get so much benefit out of it, really, because the other units that do have weapon change only can change through magic, so that's essentially a long slash. But I would say to equip it on either Kalki for a very particular strat, or on long slash or slash support units like Mycosius and stuff like that already buff the units behind them. And yeah, but if you do eventually max out this AR for some reason, it is going to be a very strong AR for Kalki, and it's going to be a pretty decent AR for those supportive units that already do support units behind them. But yeah, it requires a bit of an investment on your end. And yeah, I don't really have a lot of thoughts here. The spirit is complete garbage. I'm not even going to talk about it. It's just 50%, and also it's a level 1 spirit, so it doesn't matter. But the 6 CP here is fixed. It does not scale, so it is pretty nice. It's just the rating that sucks. But yeah, that is all my thoughts on it.
I mean, I'm surprised you didn't even mention them, even if you thought about, you mentioned them indirectly. But yeah, the other choices I guess Erbie was considering would be Echo, although she already gives Spirit, how redundant. Shouldn't be using on her because of that. No.
Yeah.
Alp 3, and Alp 3 metas here. And also, not all range, but still gets a lot of hits out of it. Happy Illusion Licho. So he actually has combo, so either way he'll be hitting a lot of times. You may also consider doing something cheeky with Leet's Evo in terms of giving someone else a weapon change to all, and then using that with this AR. But yeah,
honestly, I thought about saying McCrutch for the meme, but I was just like, nah, it's not worth it. Honestly, I think I'd rather just keep it to Kalki because he's the one who can take advantage of it more easily. I feel.
I guess so.
Let's be real. Nobody's going to use this AR with Leet for 6 CP behind.
I mean, if people actually use Leet for his CP generation, then they might want to use this as well.
Well, I mean, first you have to have someone die, right? And then you have to get this AR, equip this AR in somebody who you want the weapon change to happen to. And then you do all this for 6 CP.
Okay, but to my defense, that's about as likely as someone maxing this AR, and yet Erbie brought it up anyways. So, come on.
It's not that unlikely. It's not that unlikely. I mean, after a few years, you're going to have this AR. If you've been pulling on AR banners, you're probably going to have this AR at 30 or 40 or something. So maybe.
Maybe. All right, let's people from the future, 3 years from now, make sure you refer to this discussion.
Well, I mean, this is a banner with Nomad in it, so I'm fairly sure that there are some people who are just unlucky and have pulled a bunch of copies of this. So yeah.
I personally think it's not going to take that long until someone reaches a high AR level on this banner if people do pull on ARs, because ARs are the pool is still getting larger, yes, but I think it's still possible to keep accumulating them if you keep pulling on them, especially with the AR tickets that they provide us and all the AR banners. People will eventually get this AR a decent enough level to make it matter. Because right now at level 1, people with this at level 1, it's not really worth using at all.
People also need to put up Kalki supports with this AR.
Well, I think Gaskin still does that, but other than that, yeah, it's...
Yes, I actually need to put that.
Yeah, something. She needs to get this AR maxed ASAP.
Well, the responsibility is on her.
She hasn't succeeded. It's important.
Gaskin, you have a moral obligation to max this AR. I'm sorry, but if you don't, you might as well go to hell right now. I'm kidding.
I just realized this AR would have been good for one of the units I'm reviewing. Well, not for them, for someone else to equip. To help them.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about because that's who I thought too.
I mean, you can mention it. It's we'll go more in depth later, but it's not. But it's you can still mention it in passing right now.
Itzamna, his variant, wants CP gen and would prefer someone in front of him. So he would like this, but man, that base rate.
Yeah, the 40% makes it very low chance. I actually tried this in dungeon with the exact strategy of Itzamna, and it falls just short to keep the CP going, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's why I was memeing about the AR level 100 when maintenance was going on, because this is why it's 40%, because the Itzamna exists.
Yeah, sad.
I feel like I heard more in passing discussion about maxing sacred artifact levels and max levels for this event than any other, which is like why.
I mean, a lot of things scale very well.
Well, it's really because like all the people who were pulling for Balor got like fucked over by pulling a bunch of arc variants. So yeah.
So
Luckily,
people are
that's
just coping with the
Luckily,
copium, just like, hey, look how strong my arc is. I don't need Balor.
No, don't tell the truth like that. I'm still coping with my 61 Kyuma. I don't want other people to be called out.
Hey, one day, whenever you max him, I'm sure he'll be stronger than Valentine can go.
Oh, that is so rude.
But it's the truth.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think that's all our thoughts on this. So you are free to read the comments, Erbie.
Oh, Gascon is actually here on the chat.
Hey.
Let me check. Where did we leave off? Spirit, ZZZZ. Yo, is that Spirit Pog? Yes, very Pog. Spirit is OP. My Spirit is so low. I guess it's good on Kamui 5. So, I guess it's only going to hit 5 units. It's only going to hit 3 units, that is. So, but he is a supported unit. So, I mean, if you really need to give 6 CP or 9 CP to the unit behind you, yeah.
Make sure
Finally
you're
now-
leaving from a live chat, by the way.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Maybe I missed something.
A couple, yeah.
This is shit on Hati, but okay on Kalki default.
I am
I think all the ERs...
confused by
all
why
the,
Hati can equip this, but okay.
Yeah, I think all the ERs that Hati can equip are pretty trash on
I think
him.
Hati is pretty trash.
No! You can deal some decent blow damage, I think. He has 2
Yeah.
tank buffs.
Yeah, that's literally his only use.
I mean that's fine for like shitty old blowed units. I think
mean,
what's really
what does
shit
Bullet
is
say?
that his emotes need to be removed. But yeah.
That's where the
Hati-
tune-up needs to be placed.
Remove the Hati emotes.
Not with how many slots we have.
I mean, I like Hati Wink and Hati Go. Or Mono Wink and Mono Go, I guess. But
Finally, I can give my Leonan spirit. Thanks, Life Wonders. Ah, yes. The Kalki Leonan. They can both give each other spirit if Leonan has the other. Actually, no. No, the other is on self. Never mind.
Leonan
I'll
would
take-
probably actually like the CP for crit spam.
Yeah, so.
She already gets her crit enough, Jesus Christ.
And she needs more.
Yeah, instead of being 3 turns, it can be 2 turns.
Also, guts too, so.
I'll take ARs that be good on magic units for 100. Oh, for 100, yeah, it'd be pretty good. This AR is pretty good if you get it to max on almost anything except the shitty blowy units like Hati. I like what they use ARs to give more obscure characters a chance to shine like Hati and so on. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think this is kind of like one of the only actual Valentine thematic ARs. Outside the Nomad one, from actual Valentine's events, the other ones seem pretty random to me.
Yeah, I initially thought they were going to do that, you know, oh yeah, we're going to do an air banner based on the previous year's event. But the shit seems kind of like a random grab bag, so I don't know.
Yeah. Right now, pulled for this AR and got Duplicate and Nomad and Gabriel AR. Oh well, that's not too bad. That AR is actually pretty good, I think. Oh, it's 6 CP per hit. That's actually really strong. Yes, it is. It would be. It is slightly strong, but it could be a lot more. Hati ult soon? I don't think so. I think the artist hasn't done anything for the game in like 4 years or something. So it seems very
Nightmare
unlikely.
with a Chompathon. Let's start putting, right?
Yes, 3 years then. It was 3 years ago last time the artist did anything for the game. So I don't think it's going to happen. A combo with Yasuyori and Kotaru Summer. You'll move Kotaru, giving Yasuyori an evasion, and Yasuyori take damage to. But yeah, I thought you'll use the AR.
I mean, yeah,
guess
that
you could
works.
use that.
They are a
It
strong
works.
combo. I've used them before, but you know, it's like the evasion spam is good both ways, and then you'll get lots of CP for Kotar to get his thing faster.
Yeah, I think the point was for the AR to get the extra CP to Kotaru, but
Yeah,
even then, I don't think it'd be enough to skip more than one turn of charging.
most
up.
likely, yeah.
Hati alt non-existent. Combo helps, but wailing to the max is the play. Yeah, combo does help, but imagine units with combo that bestow combo. Getting max ST on everyone is the new meta. Money emoji. Of course, it's not the new meta, it's always been the meta. At least Valentine's AR banners get reprint. Actually, yeah, I guess, yeah, all Valentines have had Valentine's AR banner. That's just the other ones that never get reprint, like the Onsen Jamboree one that was never reprinted. Nomad puller here. I got the other 4-star. Lol. Rest in peace. Just wait until anniversary for free dupes. Oh my god, Harvey, that is such the play. Everyone needs to waste all of their tickets on this AR.
I'm still mad that people actually decide to get dupes for using their tickets from anniversary.
I mean, I'm not gonna waste it on Blossoms anymore, to be honest, I think.
Yeah, that was a huge lapse of judgment. I mean, oh, okay. Fair enough. You didn't hear anything.
Well, I think 2 dupes of Christina seems pretty good.
I mean, yeah, but I think you're better off just like getting new units instead, or seeds, than upping Christine for, like, you know, what would you would probably use her maybe for 2, maybe 3 challenge quests at most in the year.
Not everyone has infinite money, Ara.
Okay, I'll have you know I have less than 15,000 coin right now because I used it on seed and now I'm a poor boy.
On who?
I was seeding Jurong, but then I got so fucking sick of Kruznik always failing his combo, so I started seeding him.
Oh. Rest in peace. I didn't even know you were seeding Zoro.
Well,
Yeah,
skill seeding, so you wouldn't have noticed unless you looked at his profile. I mean, he
guess
doesn't
that
need
makes
it, I just think he's cute.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, so that actually makes a lot of sense. But right, back to the comments. Imagine getting the ARs. Imagine being unlucky. Couldn't be me. Mentor roll revoked. Imagine having an AR tailor-made just for you. 5 arcs and 1 Balor. Hey, at least you got the Balor. There
You have
go.
the strongest arc. There you go.
I like arc, but god, it was a hit in the stomach. I get 3 arc after 400 stones. At least I got Balor with single pulls from leftover. Everyone feel better. I rolled a Kotaru dupe on this banner, so it could have been worse. You could have gotten a Kotaru dupe. What a coincidence! The blow unit blows. Finally, no more Hati emotes in general. We did it. The evil is defeated. The biggest mystery in the Discord is the existence of all the Hatis.
I've been there
Yeah,
for a while and I still don't understand why there's so many.
Yeah, I don't either, to be honest. Some of them are pretty neat, but I feel like they're simply useless and never get used. Or at least used properly. Is getting a pity system, so Housamo should be graced with it this year still. I think that is expecting too much from it because yeah, it's supposedly a testing grounds for for Housamo. So if it works well for that, it should come to Housamo. But I don't think it's going to happen this year. Wait, what? Like, it's a pity system? Where is this news from? Yeah, it's more like a test. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Pity system is maxing SALV.
Oh my god, guys.
What?
The pity system is maxing SALV in Housamo.
Yeah, it is. Just max it, and you'll get whoever you want.
Just
Eventually.
be a whale, then it'll start pitying you. Anyway.
Well, that's basically how a pity system works, but yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, yeah, there is a nuance within the threshold differences, but whatever. Okay, let's move on to the next AR, because that was a lot of comments. Whew. Anyway, we'll now be looking at the Tsathoggua Hakumen AR, and I actually forgot who's doing this, so go ahead, whoever's covering this.
Me.
Okay, go ahead.
As soon as the slide changes.
Yeah, it's been
Did you
changed.
change it?
Yes, I changed it, it's there.
There we go. I was so far behind. Right. So, this AR provides a damage advantage against all types of movement stopping effects. Well, common ones, not like super unique ones from certain CQs or whatever. But anyway, so having a lot of these ailments are pretty common. So being able to deal advantage damage, even if it's just 1.3, is nice. If you could get like perhaps 2 of them, I believe it's 1.69 damage. I think.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember it just because of that while I was calculating it last night. So as a damage up multiplier, it's pretty much good on anyone. Ideally, you want it on the AR on someone who can already inflict it, so that they can self-sufficiently benefit from the AR advantage. Some units who do that are Dagon, Ellie, and Alp 5. They all inflict 1. There is one unit who can equip this and can actually self-sufficiently inflict 2 of the movement stopping status effects. It's actually Boogeyman from this banner. He's slash range, and he at 4-star he's capable of inflicting both fear and break, and he also has a 2x multiplier against fear already. So he actually deals quite a lot of damage just with this AR and his own 2 debuffs, and he deals roughly 15k to an enemy with this AR that has both fear and break, which is, for someone without any attack buffs, that's actually pretty nice. And he doesn't have to move to do it either. He can stay completely still, and as long as he's on the front lines, he can do it. Or actually, was the fear when attacking or after attacking?
I thought it was after attacking, which is why I didn't write in my notes. I was like, no, but I will not write it here.
Sag, well, cancel that then. It deals less damage than expected until he hits them a second time. But yeah, he's I mean, the wiki's kind of been broken right now, so it's actually hard for me to kind of 100% confirm, but I believe he's the only unit who can equip this and can inflict 2 of these at once. I mean, being able to inflict 2 of them at once is kind of rare to begin with, so that's not a surprise. Now, the other component of this AR is immobility immunity, but only 50% of the time, which I don't know why the base rate is like that, but anyway. So immobility it's pretty rare, and most units who have it generally don't want to move anyway, so immunity to it is kind of niche upon niche right now, and it'll probably remain that way, to be honest. There are 2 cases where I can think of using it. Jamberry Eisen, when he moves, grants a pretty hefty heal of 1,500, 24 CP, and acceleration to all allies around himself. The downside is that he inflicts himself with immobility, so he can't just spam it. Cause
that's a really good usage, actually. The thing
that's
is,
a fair amount of CP.
his heal is ridiculous, but they counterbalance it by making him unable to move. It's like 1500 or some shit like that. So
Yes,
if you do that, you're
1500.
healing like 1500 every turn. That's actually a really strong effect. Did not see that. Damn.
Yeah, he makes the rest of his team tanky too, just by existing. Like it's his entire gimmick.
You know,
But-
provided the immobility resistance doesn't fail. But
Yes, that's the big problem, unfortunately.
Well,
I don't know why it is base 50. Well, that's probably for this reason.
I mean, it's tied to an AR, so you have a chance of re-rolling a few times just by giving him some other buffs that are not immobility. But yeah, still, there's a chance of it failing.
Yeah. The other use case I can think of is Jiangxi Babylon inflicts immobility to allies she buffs, so she provides like ardor and nourishment. I forget what else she provides, but she also inflicts immobility on them. And in the event that perhaps you do want to move someone who you've buffed with Babylon, then this can help with that by just removing it. Of course, there's a problem that immobility is also a CP buff, so it might actually be a detriment on some of the units who actually want to CS often, say like Fashionista Tsathoggua, who hits everything and heals off of it, or Cherno, or Beachside Cherno, who he gains crit and actually does quite a lot of damage with his CS, so the immobility component is very, very niche, even of the units who can actually make use of it. Barely any of them actually want to use it anyway. I don't think there's like Behemoth as well. He doesn't really want to move anyway. But yeah, maybe we'll get more units kind of like Aizen in the future who have immobility as a limiter, but I don't really see that happening that often.
Dude, I'm still shook by 1500k healing every turn. That's shit. That's a lot.
1500k?
From Jamboree Aizen.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
what you said implies a lot more. 1.5k, not 1500k.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish 4 heals every turn.
Yeah. 1.5k, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, overall, I'd say it's a pretty decent AR, just generally speaking, for the advantage against all the movement stopping effects. They're pretty common, especially like fear. You can find that from pretty much anyone, so that'll always be a damage amp. The immobility is so niche that I guess if you have Jamboree Aizen, that's the only time it'd really be useful. Unless you have some sort of edge case where you really want one of the other immobility units, but you need to move them because it's a particular quest. But that's so niche, so yeah, I'd focus more on the other side. Or the art.
Just to confirm, Erbie, Golden Bristy has both break and oppression, I think.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He has oppression on face start and break on hit or something like that.
Alright, so that'd be another unit that could use for those effects.
I was looking at him. Unfortunately, his page was broken.
You just gotta remember everything, Zalgus.
It's alright because the rates are shit for him anyways. For both oppression and break. I think oppression is like a 50% chance. And
Yes, it's
the
more
break is
higher.
like 60% chance or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, no.
Yeah. Unlike him, Boogeyman has like a 90% and a 70% chance for his fear and break respectively, and he can fish for his break twice. So, yeah.
Alright, fair enough. But if you're re-rolling it, I guess it doesn't matter. So, yeah, it's fairly straightforward AR with lots of multipliers. It's kind of, you're not really going to be doing a setup where you have multiple, like, different movement disabling debuffs, so it's not really going to happen in a general team. It's mostly just going to be useful if you just, incidentally happen to have multiple of these kinds of debuffs up. But
Yeah, it's small enough that I wouldn't really bother building for it. And if you're ever going for like debuff stacking, or if you're ever trying to stack these, you'll usually be trying to rotate them so that you can keep an enemy stunned forever, rather than having them active at the same time.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think this is like one of the shittiest ARs we got so far. Because of how conditional it is, and it kind of feels like the Bael AR, except slightly better. Just slightly. Just very, barely.
Hey, I mean, with the Bael AR, we now have 2 different stackables. We could like do freeze and poison. That's stacking 1.2 advantage.
Wow. Amazing.
I think this is like just okay for like Jaizen, which everybody should be pulling because it's Jamboree, but I still haven't pulled. But yeah.
Just pull him in 3 tickets and no one else. There you go.
But yeah, I kind of agree in the sense that it's just this AR is just whatever. I don't really think it's shit, but it's just like, I wouldn't really want it. Yeah.
Fair
Like,
enough.
it's just like whatever. I think the AR animation is pretty funny though, where it's like these like fans bouncing off.
They literally animate his belly being hit by a fan. So stupid.
Yeah.
I do think they haven't fully like figured out what to do with immobility yet, so maybe we'll get another unit where they properly use it with a fun gimmick, and then maybe this AR will become more relevant then. But other than that, yeah, it's very conditional AR, which like, you'll need to remember to use when the best case scenario comes up for it, and you just might not because it's like you won't be using it ever otherwise.
I like how this AR is completely useless on Hakumen. I don't think she does anything with these.
No, she does not. She doesn't break fear paralysis. Does she have paralysis? I forgot.
It's just like bind and charm in it.
Yeah, something like that, I'm pretty sure. Well, you know, sometimes, like, they just need to give a unit a second feature in an AR, and sometimes they're just there to be that second guy, because they always need 2 people. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this AR, so you're free to read out the comments, Zalgus.
I think it would make more sense if the status remove immobility was way lower rate, and it would make more sense in context.
Maybe.
Of the art, that is. Right, where were we? Hype be like, I'm guessing that's in reference to... Oh, that's the just pull all the units thing.
Yeah.
Is he still playing?
I don't know. I would presume so.
Doesn't someone have him on his list?
I thought he was like, I'm gonna quit, but then like 1 week later, he like pulled a bunch on Xmas Showdown. So it was just like, okay.
Who?
Hype.
Hype.
Oh, yeah, he did pull for some reason.
Add it.
And then he like maxed everything anyways, so whatever.
Nice. Well, he already has everything else maxed, so, you know.
How hard can it be?
Thank you for funding this game for us, Hype. I'm glad I got this one lots instead of the other 4-star AR lot. I don't know whether you're being serious, Mark, because this...
I think that's
Probably
sarcasm.
being facetious.
Yeah, because, yeah, this, like, game's almost no benefit.
He was just saying in the previous AR that it was just like, wow, I'm lucky I got the other one instead.
Yeah, it's like the scaling immobility removal is not really that useful. It's easy enough
Jason,
to
though.
fish for. Yeah, but it's easy enough to fish for, like you said.
I know.
Yeah, it also it refreshes with every buff, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's...
Because of the way our status conditions that are less than 100% resistance work. So you can just spam the unit with a bunch of buffs and they'll just remove it eventually.
I might actually want to use that strategy one day. I'm sorry, Zalgus, but I might steal Jaizen and this AR.
Do you even have this one?
Oh no, don't remind me of reality, I don't. Right? I only have the Kalki one.
Finally, I can have Summer Sath move across the board like he was always meant to. Yeah, that's the only way Sath can use this one. Well, Actually, I don't know if he applies any of these ailments.
No,
He does.
he
not,
applies
though.
charm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the only use. Wow, this AR's kind of useless on both units. Well, whatever. But yeah, now you can have him slowly move. Does the damage multiplier stack? Like if the enemy has all the damage debuff, should we get all the damage multiplier? It should stack. I believe there should. I don't
Yep,
think
it's
there
already
should be
confirmed.
anything
It's just like,
inhibiting
we already know it stacks was ever since what's his face, virtual summer memory, Shenong, and all his poison things stack. So same thing for this deal.
Well, if you had all 4, that would be a 2.85, which, I mean, that's a good multiplier, but first off, that's only for 1 turn, because Oppression and Break only last 1 turn, and second, you'd need to build a very specific team built around it, because you're going to have a hard time getting all 4 ailments, even if you have
use Jurong to keep your debuffs up.
I guess, but yeah, you'd need Boogeyman for Fear and Break, and then someone who can inflict paralysis and someone for oppression, which, I mean, that'll be 3 units. I guess that's not entirely out of the question, but at that point just bring something that can buff their damage instead. It should give Boogie combo. Yes, you could do that and have him take advantage of his fear. I should have looked up while everyone was talking if it was when attacking. Sath would be like unbothered, moisturized, happy, etc.
He looked it up
Moisturized.
and it's after attacking.
Damn. Well, I guess he has the fear advantage baked into his kit, so they probably didn't want him taking advantage of that too quickly. I wish I can be like Sath, unbothered and lazy. Yeah. And wins at the casino. If only. Was that rigged or not? I forget. They mentioned something like that.
No, he was just good at games, I guess, or some shit like that. I don't know.
I don't know if he can be good at slot machines.
Well, I don't know.
Well, just pull better, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sats pulled better. Let's follow Sats' example.
So basically this AR enables Jaizen even more. Good. Yeah, it does. At least
And
Gulen
it's
gives...
not the only one.
What?
I just said it, and it's not the only one in this patch.
Oh, great. Jaizen will be... I don't think they'll ever power creep him. Because his effects are way too strong. At least Gulen gives more white spirit at 90%. Whoa. Finally. Small spirit. Fucking spirit. Yes, Spirit King. Imagine pulling on Jamboree. Oh wait, Jaizen hasn't been rerun yet. Yeah, they should rerun Jamboree. It's a pretty good banner. Hype went to Eidos for like 1 week and came back on. Eidos is just unplayable in my phone. Eidos keeps crashing in my phone. Eidos made a bad first impression.
I love
for
how
me.
that's like 3 different negative impressions consecutively from 3 different people.
Damn, not even discussion stream chats can escape being derailed by that game. Moo players seem stable now though. Consider it talking about the competition for comparison's sake.
Is it even competition? The real question.
Based on what limited stuff I've seen, because I have not actually played it, no. Besides being completely different types of games, one is Arc Knights and the other one has, well, I don't know what to call this. It seems trashy, I suppose. I don't know. I don't go for it.
From what I tried, as soon as I got the second bit of my phone, it just glitched entirely. I was there for like 20 minutes to try to enable my phone to work again because not even how Hotkey was working. I was just stuck in a forever glitching screen of Eidos for a while.
Right. So it's both buggy and, if what I've seen of the dialogue is to be believed, kind of trashy in terms of writing. But yeah, that
We're not reviewing that anyways today, thankfully.
Oh damn, I didn't have it on talk chat or live chat, but I don't think I missed anything.
No, you did not.
Yeah, I don't think you missed anything.
I'll keep my thoughts to myself on this game because I haven't played it, but I do have an opinion on it based on what I've heard. I'll just say that much. But let's go on to the next AR. Oh boy, we're taking our time with this. It's already been 50 minutes and we're still in the hours. Alright, a devilish tea time. The Bael Astaroth AR. This will be covered by someone. Go ahead.
It's me, I think. Yes. Alright, this AR, I really like this AR, even though it's very, I should put it, situational. It can be really strong for a particular amount of units. So what this AR does is, if the unit remains unmoved, it will apply poison to self, allies, and enemies on a 3-square diamond radius. This is a pretty wide radius, to be honest. And it will also apply regeneration to self, allies, and enemies in the 2-square diamond radius around yourself. So you get poison and regeneration to yourself, to your allies, and to enemies. So this will eventually, if you only have one copy, it's only going to be the effect at level 1. So poison will only deal 100 damage, and regeneration will only cover 400 damage. So it's essentially just a 300 HP gain. But it's also a passive 300 HP gain as well. It's only 80% to 100%, which is kind of sucks, but unfortunately it needs to be like this, just so that the AR has some scaling effect, so that people have an actual reason to pull it even further. But yeah, this AR is pretty nice, coupled with a lot of units that have after debuff triggers, especially, and also just overall really good with a lot of units that also exploit that exploit how should I put it, buffs on the enemies, like Bael, or even when you're using that AR that on someone that deals extra damage against healing buffs, because this will also apply the healing buff on the enemies. So that's also pretty nice. And it's also overall just a solid passive healing AR for your entire team, because it heals 300 HP. It's not a lot, but if you keep the unit unmoved, it is pretty nice. I'd say there are a lot of units that can take use of this, but I'm just gonna go with Salah's previous mentions of Jamboree Azing. I think it's a pretty nice unit to have, because essentially what will happen here is that he'll apply the poison to himself, and he will immediately trigger all, or at least try to trigger all his after debuff effects, giving Adamantine, Crit Plus, and Tenacity, and even gain some extra CP to himself, but that doesn't matter. But immediately, as soon as your move turn ends, and before the enemy turn starts, and they actually have to hit and debuff your team, that's actually pretty nice. It can preemptively set up all these things on your entire team, as well as apply a very neat healing effect on your team. And eventually, if somehow Jamboree manages to keep free from debuffs, he can eventually just remove his own poison and just reapply it again in a perfect scenario. Obviously, this isn't going to happen a lot, but it can happen. Another unit that can benefit from this AR a lot is probably how should I put it? Tangaroa Infinity, because he also gets stronger for every debuff he has, and he also spreads them in a large radius. So this is also pretty neat for him, because it will make his defenses better, and also increase his chances to actually apply his own debuffs, and also provides him with extra healing without having to actually CS to get that healing, which he sort of needs, because unless he gets constantly debuffed and rolls that really low chance to get healed after debuff, it's not gonna help a lot. Another unit where this can be really useful, and that I also mentioned was Kalki, for instance, because, well, he already has an AR that he can equip, that can instantly weapon change him to all, but that will only, that is when appearing, so it both cannot refresh, and also it's going to cut off one turn from his weapon change because it's when appearing, so his weapon change will only last 2 turns. Since this trigger timing is if unmoved, it will trigger on the first turn, so it will last for 3 turns, so that's pretty nice. And it can reapply itself again if you manage to eventually just let the debuff slide or remove it yourself. But yeah, I also thought of other units that have after debuff conditions, like Galen Rusty, or I think Shambori Kagutsuchi also had it, but these are just my recommendations. The, one thing I forgot to mention is all these units that do benefit from debuff, they don't need to be the ones to equip this AR, because this AR extends its effect through a very large radius, so you don't actually need these units to be the ones to actually have this card equipped. But yeah, the ones I actually did mention can actually equip it and all benefit from it. And yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I think it's a pretty good AR, and that enables a lot of memes, and that is what we're here for. We're here for memes.
I think it's kind of an interesting AR because, like, straight up.
Oh, I forgot to mention something.
What's up?
I forgot to mention something. You can also use this for stupid poison advantage units as well, because it also applies on the enemy. So, like, for instance, Summer Shenong, he can only apply poison on like long slash because of his attack range. But with this AR, he can eventually, if another unit that is not him has this AR equipped, they can extend that poison to beyond the long slash lines, and eventually his CS will also take advantage of his large ×2 poison multiplier on top of the fatal poison stacks he's going to apply. Yeah, I forgot about that part.
I think Astaroth actually only inflicts fatal poison, so they should benefit from this too, right? And he has advantage over poison too.
It should affect both, yeah. But so I just thought of that
I see.
Because of the biggest all range CS damage, and it's
for Astaroth though, it'd be a straight up 2 times multiplier, since I think that's the multiplier for poison.
It is. It is. Yeah.
So it's quite good for the listed units here, both Astaroth and Bael, and Babylon 5, I guess. I do think it's kind of interesting conceptually, because this AR straight up doesn't actually explicitly give you an advantage over the enemy. In fact, it affects the enemy equally to you in terms of both giving poison to both enemy and ally, like, as well as regeneration. So it's like, you kind of have to actually know how to play the game to take advantage of it. That is to say, use poison advantage where you can, and use a buff reversal or the likes where you can. So I think it's funny in that this 5-star AR, on the face doesn't actually give you any advantage. But yeah, other than that, I have the same recommendations as you.
Did you say buff reversal outside of like Bael having buff advantage already?
I did mention Babylon 5 in passing, but I don't know. I think Erbie mentioned it.
I mentioned only the buff advantages, but yeah, buff reversal is also pretty new. But buff reversal you did mention after me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought this AR was kind of like interesting because you like get like these really two niches that were like kind of difficult-ish to get. One is applying debuff to your team and applying a buff to an enemy. So I thought this was pretty solid. I don't really like the if on move condition, but it's actually kind of fine because it's just like whatever. And what is it? Regen heals 400 at skill level 1, and poison like does 100 damage or something at skill level 1, so it's like a net 300. But you can like clear the poison and it's fine. And 400 is kind of like actually kind of sizable for an AR, I guess, right? Because regeneration is kind of rare. But yeah, I thought this AR was kind of cool.
It's nice to have another way to trigger a buff reversal on an enemy without the only other way we were able to do it with an AR was that Hakumen Shalotto AR that applies like anchor to enemies and allies, except that you could only ever do that once on phase start, so it's nice to have another way to do it.
Actually, I'm pretty sure we already mentioned this before, but the Guts Resistance AR, technically Guts Resistance was a buff, so that was another way to bestow it to the enemy.
Yeah.
Also the Blessing AR as well. The one that inflicted Blessing and took out the extra buffs.
Yeah,
but healing buffs, which is also good for this, because regeneration is a healing buff. You do get an advantage over it.
I wish I had that for that one video I did, where I made use of the buff reversal, but oh well.
Yeah. I think I had something else to say. Oh yeah, I kind of hate this AR during farming because it makes everything slow.
Yeah, it does make everything slow, especially when you have two Balors and both equipped with this AR. Just the effect spreading everywhere.
Is there anyone with extended movement who can sit in the middle to move them?
I don't think there's a lot of people with extended movement in these farming quests, actually.
Yeah, I don't have anyone. At least in my teams, unfortunately.
Yeah, extended movement would help a lot to make it guaranteed for me, but because it's not, oftentimes I get 4 turns or even 5 turns for the white quest.
Yeah, so, I don't really know, but the white quest I can 1 turn due to Boogeyman if he decides to act correctly, but yeah.
I wish I got Boogeyman. Hello.
Also, I thought it was funny that you said that the CR affects the board equally. While it is true in the way you said it, in practice it's not actually true, as we all know, because a 300 HP gain for the player units is a lot more significant than for the enemy units. So if an enemy unit regains 300 HP, it's usually not that big of a deal, to be honest. But if your team does regain 300 HP, that kind of is a big deal.
Yeah, that's true.
The way the game works.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go on that tangent about the status effect timings being slightly different for the player and enemy, because the enemy gets like 1 turn less because their counter goes down first. Yeah.
Yep, also a neat point.
You guys are...
That's also a neat point.
What?
Pardon?
That's also a neat point.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
I forgot what the expression art is, but it's something like, I feel you guys are pulling at threads now or something. As in, really picking at specifics, but you get what I'm trying to say. Even if there is a slight difference.
This is a very specific AR, but it works for a lot of cases, to be honest. So I felt like it was very important to try and mention at least all of them, because even though it's a very specific AR, it's also very generic. I don't know how to explain it.
It opens up a lot of things that were previously just restricted to like very few units.
Yeah, while also providing some general utility with the healing.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But it's not a complicated AR, and it's really it gets its strength with how you decide to play with it. Anyways, I think that's it for this. We're all done with this AR, right?
Yeah.
All right, you are free to read out the comments then, Erbie.
Where were we? Were we on the Harvey's comment?
Alright, I'm not too late.
Oh, competition, right, I remember. Alright, I'm not too late, yeah.
You can make it Zodiac.
They need to stop buffing Halloween Azathoth. He's getting too powerful. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell about that. Yeah, should be nice on him too, I guess, to get the extra attack up, but... regeneration to self, allies, and enemies. Shenong. This AR makes me really admire Sosuke's art style. It really looks amazing on other characters besides Muscle Man. The regen is to proc Bael's buff reversal. Time to borrow Erbie's Balor just so I can use this AR for my Hermes. No, disgusting. Unfriended. Guess I can use Hermes to apply HP reversal, I guess. Now I need to pull more to get this, and more Kalki AR dupes, Kalki AR banner, and Jay's in to buff him. Yeah, that's kind of right. This is actually a pretty good banner for Kalki. That's kind of what I wanted. It's kind of like, wow, this I can actually use some of these ARs for once. Beach Vol takes nice advantage of this AR for some extra bonus damage. I guess, sort of. Then you'd have to use Beach Vols. Love the V-set synergy. I wish I got Boogeyman 2. Equality. Grasping at straws is the expression.
Thank you, Gabriel. I'm so bad at English sometimes. It's like I pick out awkward-ass expressions that I pull out from the darkest recesses of my mind that don't even make sense when I try to look for them.
I wasn't sure if that was actually what you meant or not.
Well... It's kind of. I think it's similar enough. It's just like, they're really trying to nitpick the real specifics here. That I guess that's a slight expression, but it works too.
Right. Good for South Fashionista too. Honestly,
I don't really see it.
I don't see it either. What was that?
Healing.
I
Probably.
guess like if you wanted to be like really annoying and like drag out your battles super long.
Oh yeah, that's his real use.
Amazing. Thank you for the great Fashionista South. Skill Evolution number 2.
His gameplay time does not need any more buffs, please. Anyways, let's move on to the next AR. Next. This is the Gabriel Nomad AR. I don't know what it translates to, but who cares? This will be covered by someone. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so it's being covered by me, and it's Gabriel and Nomad, and the restrictions are fire and ether. So the effects are pretty simple in the sense that the first effect is that after moving, you give evasion to allies behind the person moving at a base rate of 40%, which scales to 80%. And on phase start, you get a plus 20% skill activation rate increase to yourself, and it's irremovable, and it's at 100% rate. So, yeah. So this is a pretty simple AR. You just pretty much put it on anybody who you want to buff their skill rates, and ideally you would put it on somebody who's going to move a lot to take advantage of evasion. So yeah, I just had like a bunch of people to write down. I think it would be pretty good in Halloween out because his skills start like at a pretty low rate. Hephaestus again, you can put it on him. You can put this on like all of the nomads. They could all benefit from extra skill rate.
What do they do?
What else is there?
Well,
Which one?
What do the nomads do?
Well, the 4-star Nomad got the skill evolution where his crit is like some stupid 70%.
Oh, okay, I guess he would benefit from it.
And then like Christmas Nomad, if you don't skill seed him, then you can like fail both concentration and glint, I think, or else something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, this wouldn't really like help for him because it's phase start, unless like ARs are somewhat different. But yeah. Anyways, it's just like
Isn't his
just put this
concentration
on
stuff
somebody
like
who you want.
after moving? Or move phase end. So it should apply to him as perfectly fine.
No, I thought it was like. Okay, I don't remember. I don't really use Christmas Nomad to know, but yeah, just like put this on whoever you want to buff the skill rates of. And it's like, it's pretty straightforward, I think. Yeah. And yeah, put it on people who you want to move. That's basically it. I didn't really have that complicated of a thought of it.
I mean, that's fair enough. It's what it says on 10. I mean, it gives evasion behind, which means that you'll probably want to do it with someone who, like, you could put on someone who's always in front anyways and who's always moving, and someone who acts as a tank, so that doesn't already give evasion behind themselves. I put down 2 units listed for this. There's Valentine Time Warp Snow. I believe he does some stuff for the back unit, but now he can actually provide some defense to them as well with evasion.
I don't really agree with Valentine Snow because Valentine Snow is not a unit you really like to move at all.
Yeah, the movement effects on Valentine Snow are very minuscule. It's not worth it.
I mean, like, the nullified debuff and, like, the fat heal are, like, okay, but it's just, like, no, you don't really want to move at all. So I would not put him for moving effects.
Well, I guess a more pertinent choice would then be Happy Illusion Ryota, because he, in fact, is a unit that is frontline and is a defensive support and is a tank and always wants to move. So now he has a very strong defensive buff to the unit behind him with evasion. And of course his rates are also, like, not guaranteed even when you skill seed him, so it would be nice for that base start anyways.
And I guess I should just... Oh, sorry.
You can go on.
You can keep going.
Okay.
I probably should make this clear, but these skill activation rate buffs do not affect ARs if, like, people are thinking that. So it's not like you get from 40% to 60%. No, it just stays at 40% for ARs. Yeah.
Yeah, any sort of buff that increases activation rate, that is for the unit's kit. Skill effects, not the AR skill effects are not touched at all. So maybe I should update the wiki to say that, but I keep on forgetting. Anyways, besides the frontline move-dependent defensive supporters, you can also just consider equipping this on units with strong non-phase start skill effects tied to non-guaranteed activation rates. So, just units like you already mentioned, Halloween Alp, that's a good choice. You could also equip it on Happy Illusion Furufumi, so that he can give out his ardor at a slightly better chance, and Hot Springs Miniaki, so that he can inflict his bunch of debuffs more likely. What was his debuffs again? It was like CP down and maybe curse.
CP down, skill lock,
and fear.
Fear and curse, yeah.
Yeah, so those are all strong effects and they spread, and so even if it's only one turn, getting that one turn to be guaranteed would be nice. So I think it'd be strong for Miniaki.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Did he have curse? I don't really remember. I bet he does. Yeah.
He has a damage down debuff, so I'm guessing it's curse if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Perfect.
Well, the wiki just broke, so
big surprise.
Only just.
But yeah, it's just like just put this on whoever you want, and it's fine. Well, like whoever you need a skill rate buff to. So you don't really need to put this on Marcosius. Well, I guess you can put it on him for the evasion to allies behind, but yeah, it's just this is just a really solid AR in terms of general use. The fact that you get plus 20% skill rate increase at 100% rate is pretty big. It's kind of like the concentration AR.
I mean, especially compared to Alice Wells, which is only like 10% with Glint, and then it's only 80% for some reason. Like this is actually a lot better.
Yeah, and like that concentration sets up an AR, right? That was also at 100% rate. This just gives you like 20%. I wanted to say meme answers like Pollux 4, but it's just like, yeah, just put this on whoever.
Put it on Motosumi.
Motosumi 4, the true meta.
Yeah. I guess unfortunately he's one of the people who can equip this.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. There's probably some like weird person that you can put these people on.
Like Kagutsuchi and Hanuman.
Stop.
Yeah, I guess in Hanuman you can be rolling for immortal, so technically this would be good for him. Kagu, I don't think so. I don't remember any gamblers, unfortunately, who could equip this AR, and that would have been really funny, but maybe there's one that I forgot about. So yeah.
Isn't it just there's only like 2, isn't there? Gandharva and what's his face? Tetsuox.
Yeah.
Well, there's also like Ibisu kinda, but yeah. Because he gets the
super low rate
doesn't
things,
count.
yeah.
He's not. Ibisu doesn't count. He's not real.
Yeah, the thing is, even with the Ibisu, it's like even if you activate it, he's only gonna be doing from shit damage to like decent damage.
Light fitness, shit damage.
Yeah, it's really sad that with Crit Plus it's still not amazing.
Okay, but yeah, this is just kind of like mini Smoky God AR. So have at that.
Yeah, very strong general utility.
I think that's the only mention Smoky Gold will get this stream, actually, if I'm not remembering the rates wrong for the rest of the banner.
Yeah, the rates are unless you really want to use him.
I think like
I mentioned what's in my notes.
Kind of like shitty, so yeah.
Yeah, but his important skill, the only one that matters, has 80, so he's probably fine.
Oh, you mean like sub like 70 or something? But yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I just like 80. That's just it.
I mean, I dislike 80 too, but that's more fixable.
Because I've been like failing Itzamna's 90% skill, so yeah.
That's the skill
I'm
set.
to skill seed him.
He's a unit that I wanted to seed for a while, but there's just so many other units I'd rather seed that I never got to Itzamna, that is. Oh well.
Okay. I'm gonna read the comments.
Go ahead.
Nomad, my beloved. I could talk about what this card does for Xmas Nomad and how it seeds concentration glint, and this he gets 100% evasion. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. At that point, I would just re-roll though. That tail is sus. Emoji. Is it sus? Mogus? I guess it just goes down. I don't really see it, but whatever. Okay. But it also allows him to remove 2 buffs guaranteed. Yeah, there's that the Christmas banner had like this like steel buff kind of theme because it was like thieves and police. But yeah. Finally, Shinya can have 100% charm if you use this and proc his concentration and skill seed him, and he has greater than 50 CP. Oh my god.
Finally.
The Shinya.
Finally.
What the fuck is
Finally.
this shit?
Finally,
Shinya.
Gascar with the big brain plays.
I need to remember that Shinya got a skill evolution. I can't like ironically use him anymore, but maybe I still can because his skill evolution isn't too great. Good for him. A mini Smoky for best element is always appreciated. Hashtag Ether Pride. TBH, I do have some Ether units that would appreciate this AR. Yeah, maybe like Kalki might like this because his rates are kind of like weird. Yeah. Look away, Summoner. Gabe Nomad AR is temporary and is restricted to fire Ether units, but Smoky God is forever. Art. Further proof that shopping is the secret for high skill activation rates. Yeah, Smoky God likes shopping, which is kind of weird, but
Seriously.
I don't really understand it.
That's funny.
Staring at Nomad's shiny leather because I'm a simp. Is it shiny? Yeah, I guess it's shiny in this AR. Pretty nice. You mean his chest? Hive mind. This is Tsathoggua AR. Can't change my mind. Yeah, I wanted to say Tsathoggua, but then like when I was thinking about it, his stuff is like consistent enough, so I was just like, okay, whatever. Yeah, but yeah, I guess like it's good for the healing and CP stuff. So yeah, you can equip this on Tsathoggua and you can get everything.
I don't even think with Tsathoggua because, as we discussed several times, he has like a million good ARs for him, so it's like, is really that much better than the million of other ones? Like
this
whatever.
CP AR would be more beneficial in the end anyway.
Yeah,
Actually, it does give him a. Actually, it does give him like a buff too. So, yeah, this one is fine. But I wouldn't like pull this AR for Tsathoggua if that's what you're doing.
If you want to pull ARs for Tsathoggua, you need to pull on every AR banner ever. That's just how does that make the rules.
Once again, terrified that Gabe's mouth takes up half her face. I should like. They should add like Gabriel Omega Lol to like soundboard.
I think I suggested that at one point, but I kind of dropped the idea or something like that.
Pac-Man. The downside of being an idol, for Gabriel at least. Don't need to worry, I have 100% skill on Itzamna. Balan Gunzu would be able to apply evasion to units adjacent to him for the first 2 turns since he applies it to the left and right of him. Doesn't make use of the skill activation rate though, so... actually that is incorrect because he has, Vigor after being hit. So he can actually take advantage of it.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I guess it's not need to know that. It's okay, it's better if you forget Shinya's Skivo. Yeah. Yeah, Kalki is 80% for his most important proc. Weapon swap plus attack up, so this is perfect. Yeah, that's pretty good then. I kinda hated, like, missing Kalki stuff, but it got better with, like, the fact that you can run Kool-Aid AR. This seems like a good AR to give Tindalos evasion every 3rd turn. Yeah, there's like that meme like Oniwaka 5 Tindalos strat that I wanted to do. But everybody like moved Oniwaka 5, regular Oniwaka 5 anyways. So yeah. You can kind of like mimic that with this strat, with this AR. Wow, Tsathoggua, why does LW let you have all the ARs? Yeah. He hasn't actually appeared in one though, I think. So yeah, go
The
figure.
bitter irony. Alright.
That's all the comments.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll be moving on to the units. I believe we're done with all the ARs. Hooray. So, now...
Oh my god, we did it.
Yeah, it only took us an hour and 20, which is frankly somewhat decent. We will now be talking about Balor, if you will, Erbie.
Oh my god, it's me again.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, Balor. There is not much to talk about here. I mean, there is something to talk about here, but the main things is that Balor is a heavy magic range damage dealer. He deals a shit ton of damage with his Brawn and face start crit immediately. He also has decently high attack stat, and yeah, with access to these two buffs, he's already dealing some significant damage. But his damage can exponentially increase further with his conditional effects that he has. Balor basically works around CP conditionals entirely, excluding these bronze and crits and all these things. His main gimmick is that he immediately starts with a bunch of CP, and the higher his CP is, the more effects he's going to apply when he attacks. When he attacks at 60 or higher CP, he's going to have an 80% chance to apply paralysis to the units he hits, and if his CP is higher than 80, he will have a 70% chance to apply countdown to the enemies he hits. Unfortunately, there is a downside to prevent him from doing this consistently, which is his CP depletion on hit as well. After he attacks, you lose a bit of CP on top of the small CP that he gains. It's always a detriment in that scenario unless he's hitting a dead unit. But we're not cutting those, obviously, because they won't be affected by the statuses anyways. So basically, it'll eventually reach a point where certain thresholds of his CP will start seeing drops on the debuffs he's going to inflict. Why are these debuffs important? These debuffs are mostly important because he also has a damage advantage against these debuffs of 1.6. It's not very big, but it does add up a lot to his already decently high damage. So eventually what's going to happen is the first unit is going to hit on low range is probably going to get hit by both statuses if his CP is high enough. He already starts with 50 and generates 20 every turn, so that's already a free 70 CP at the start of each battle. So that's pretty high, and that is also discounting the random CP that you gain immediately once you enter the battle, because the units don't always start at 0 CP, and these values aren't exact. They're always a bit. They're always a bit of a range. So eventually what's going to happen is he's going to stop applying countdown, and if his CP gets lower than 60, he's also going to stop applying paralysis. It's going to deal less damage to the units further away from him. But that's not a big issue, to be honest. He already deals a bunch of damage. He generates his own CP just so his CP doesn't get too low. And he also has a pretty potent charge skill that, on top of having the 1.6 times multiplier by default against countdown, his CS also adds an additional 2 times multiplier against the countdown, and also applies the countdown on all the units he hits, and also keeps his crit active in case he doesn't have the phase start crit, since, well, he can't proc the when attacking crit, so he's not, his CS crit isn't going to be as strong, but he's not going to lose his when attacking crit when he eventually attacks on magic range. He also has the ability to apply Dazzle to enemies and enemies adjacent to them. It's only 60%, but since it works on adjacent enemies as well, I think it's a fairly reasonable percentage rate for him. Because, well, if it doesn't hit the first enemy, it hits the second, and it's going to affect everyone. So it doesn't really matter a lot.
Yeah.
I was going to say something. Oh,
good.
He also is immune to all defensive buffs and poison reversal, which is also an attack buff at the same time. But yeah, I don't know why this is probably just a flavor thing, because he's not wearing anything, and I think that's the point. But he also already has strong defensive tools, which I don't even think he needs, to be honest, because his damage is quite high. I did make the calculations for it, so with just the crit in Brawn, he's going to deal almost 15k damage without any extra multipliers statuses. If he gets paralysis up, it's going to jump up to just a bit over 23k damage, and if he gets both up, it's going to deal 38k damage. This is without outside help.
And it's like it's guaranteed too without seeding. It's like, holy shit, we are way past the days of Envari being strong.
Yeah, this is very high, and the buffs he has and the damage amplifiers he has can also be stacked with the most common buffers, which is like ardor buffers and attack up buffers and all that shit. All that common shit he doesn't have. He only has the sort of the rarest attack buff multipliers, and also has some of the rarest debuffs as well, with Countdown and Paralysis being extremely rare to have and available immediately. Personally, I don't think you're going to use him for these, but it can be useful in case somehow the enemy survives. Applying Dazzle and Countdown can be not Countdown. Applying Dazzle and Paralysis will help keep the teams kind of healthy and not take too much damage, since, well, he is immune to all defenses, so he's not going to be able to protect himself outside debuffs. As for ARs, there's actually quite a lot of ARs that he can equip and benefit from. I'm going to start with the Alice and Volos AR that gives him straight up an additional 2x damage multiplier against Dazzle. And since he does apply Dazzle when attacking, he's going to be able to benefit from this immediately if he triggers the Dazzle, of course. But since it's adjacent, I don't think it's going to be a big issue to take advantage of it, really. He can also equip the leaked AR where he's being pulled by Ben 10 and Kunyoshi. It also gives him a Dazzle advantage, even though it's a lot smaller. It's only 1.4, but it also gives him an additional CP, an additional 10 CP when he on every phase starts. So that's pretty nice. It allows him to immediately have access to the countdown, even if you low roll on your CP things at the start of the battle. So that's pretty nice.
I just realized even with Leak's Evo, that AR is still useless on him.
Yeah, I mean, but Leaked is pretty good now, though.
Yeah.
You could also just try to equip the Ellie and Tsukuyomi AR if you're using him for farming to deal a bunch of farming seeds to deal a bunch of damage, because he can also equip this, and even though some of the Blossom quests have evasion, if you stack a bunch of buffs on him, you'll be able to penetrate them, even if he can't actually penetrate those defenses, because his damage is so high. He can also equip the single Bulls Club, which will, if it's after turn 1, he can actually recover some of the CP he lost mid-attack by triggering his when attacking crit. So I thought that was a funny meme, to be honest, and will also boost his charge damage. So and allow for faster charging as well. I think he pairs well with people that can give him a lot of CP. And yeah, that's my primary thoughts on him. I just think he deals a lot of damage and pretty straightforward to use.
It's like there's a lot of things written in his kits, but it's like all it is just, more damage to what's, a ridiculous amount of base damage already. So it feels almost unnecessary to a point, but it's there for some reason you want a tiny bit more damage. But he does plenty already just by crit and Brian, as you said. He said it was 15k or something. Like, holy shit. And Vari's is like, what, 9k only was concentration or some shit. And he has to move for that, and it's not guaranteed. Whereas both crit and Brian is guaranteed here. We have really gone past those days.
It is pretty high. And yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah. So, I had a thought about this. Is that somebody asked in help recently, how to use Balor, and I was very confused because he's extremely straightforward.
And then
battle.
And then Joe decided to make he's really complicated, and he describes this thorough set of a flowchart of how he could get more damage. But I was yes, but also he's simple.
I mean, you just use him in the farming quest, and you see him do 40k damage.
You literally don't need to move him, and then he just does the same.
I was just what is complicated about this? Is that he kills stuff. It's just okay. I had some thoughts about the Tsathoggua Con AR on him, actually. Is that I always kind of found Balor, you're kind of playing chicken with him, you kind of don't want him to CS because you lose basically all your CP, so it's like kind of like good to stay at this high CP range, but like not CS. But with the Tetsu Walk-on AR, like the fact that you can charge back like really fast is like a really good thing. Like obviously you can't like get protection or like all the defensive buffs, which are good for the Tetsu Walk-on AR. But I think like it's like actually very easy with that kind of effect to get back to like at least 40 CP.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just put Leonan behind him. Or something like that. She will give him CP, all those buffs.
Or just phase start CP and all that.
Yeah.
I do want to point out that the way to minimize the amount of CP he gets if you're playing chicken is to make sure you hit 3 units each time, because it's like 3 units is just the maximum you can hit before it starts becoming like a negative gain on that turn.
Yeah, I think like 2 to 3 is good, but 3 is like the sweet spot. And I'm gonna mention this a lot, but he pairs really well with Jamboree Kagutsuchi because J Kagu can do turn start CP, so yeah, because his stuff is after buff, so yeah, he can kind of supplement Balor's like CP. Also, Gamtong did a really good job with Balor's art this Valentine.
Yeah, he did.
For real, I was kind of in the middle with his original art because it's like the most plain of prison stripes ever. But in this one, it's just like he's in full display and you can't keep your eyes off him. So,
I'm like, forget Aegir. I don't care anymore. I got Balor, and then goodbye.
Yeah, he actually looks like kind of in similar pose as Aegir 5, but just actually better. I didn't mention this out loud, but I did actually. I was hoping to get him just for his art. Obviously, I wouldn't be pulling that hard because I don't usually pull for art. But that was my main motivations for playing on this banner. I was like, wow, he looking fine.
I still think that it's kind of like really big brain of like Life Wonders to like do a fairy tale event just to do Emperor's New Clothes for Balor. It's just like really funny to me.
That is truly the biggest of brains.
I really do appreciate that his crit and brawn are 100%, because that means I don't have to skill seed him.
Yeah, you got both, right? Both.
Yeah, one of my accounts did. I get both. The other one got several dupes of Balor.
I feel like
oh yeah, you got like 3 Balors. Yeah.
God damn, I am salty. But also, I only pulled like once on each banner, so it's whatever.
I'll have to test his CS later, because that crit and CS multiplier will hit very hard.
Yeah, oh yeah, the CS usually does like... The CS in my experience did like 600k by itself, so I was like, okay, cool.
We're almost reaching the point where 1 million is standard.
That just happened, yeah. The values for both 5-star CS have been quite ridiculous in this event, I feel. Even with little buffs.
It's not an event with like a damage bonus either. Like this is just,
it's like what you see is what you're gonna get moving on. You're not being debated like with other banners where, oh yeah, it's a fun thing, we're gonna give them strength. No, that's when you know the units are shit. But yeah, I have a few other suggestions. The bronze strengthening AR that exists. It's the Mototsumi Licha one. Since he gets guaranteed, that means he'll just have straight up like a 1.5 or 1.6 times bonus to his bronze strengthening. His regular brawn, that is. So consider that, because unlike the Dazzle Damage one, he's guaranteed to activate brawn on phase start if you want more reliable damage. And I would also suggest if you are playing chicken, try to bring charge deniers such as the leaked food from the AR, perhaps, if you really just want him to stay at 100 constantly, or if you're willing for him to go beyond, like possibly lower than his what's called his thresholds for count and paralysis. You can bring Toji for the face stuck, or Tindalos. By the way, this is a new update, but they made it so effects that reduce CP to units at 100 CP now cancels the charges. So Tindalos can now cancel someone else's charge. So keep that in mind.
Health performance updates. Very cool.
Oh, I actually, I was doing testing for Itzamna, and I tested that, and the CS didn't go off, and for some reason I automatically went, yeah, that's how that should work, as if that's always how it worked.
No, it's not. But
I completely dismissed it.
That's how they made it work for Itzamna, but Team Dollars got affected as well as a result.
That was another thing they stealthily removed, was like the HP and attack buffs from the ERs from the display on the status screen.
Yeah, they're no longer buffs because they were never buffs in the first place. So
Honestly,
thank God that's gone.
good, because it was always confusing me whether it was like I had attack.
They use the same attack up
like,
symbol for a million things. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like really awful because I couldn't tell whether like leaked was like missing shit or if it was just the AR.
Well, now you know.
I'm glad they removed those like HP and attack up symbols from the ARs because they were useless.
Oh, they did. Very good.
Yeah. And now we actually have spot for statuses.
But for how long?
Until they
Not
give us
very
another
long.
row. Alright, I think we're done talking about Balor and how good his art as well as his kit is. So, if you are free to read the comments, Erbie.
Where do we leave off? Let me check. Nomad, Pac-Man. I forgot where we were stuck at. What was it? Well, Tsathoggua, why does let you get all the ERs? Was this
Yeah,
it?
that was it.
There is something to talk about there. Hope this video doesn't get striked. Yeah, it's fine. I used the stripper thumbnail and didn't get struck. Closest we've gotten to a wrestler variant. I guess. What about Taro's mask? He's always been... That doesn't count. I'm convinced that this is Valentine's D&D at this rate due to the costumes. I actually haven't read through the event, but because the major theme got me a bit put off when I heard that it was VR again, but we'll see. I'll probably read it at some point, or at least try to read it through the Google translation. I love how everyone is dripped out in their costumes in this banner, and then Gumtank decides to give Balor the skimpiest base outfit imaginable. Not that I'm complaining, though. I mean, it's fine. It's perfect. The perfect outfit. Actually, I didn't actually think about it, but yeah, he's the only one with an actual naked costume, I guess, outside the Boogeyman.
I mean,
Boogeyman makes sense. He's a new
I
unit.
think someone mentioned that in my previous stream that they made Arc ticker.
I don't see it, but sure. Balor really said, "I need no protection," and then he dies unless you call everything first. Lol. Unless you kill everything first. That makes. I mean, if you're not killing everything first, something must be very wrong.
Balor doesn't use protection. He goes in raw.
Taurus Mask, the wrestler, who got a wrestler variant, but that is true. Their capes are somewhat similar too. With Boogeyman as the DM. That's because Balor is referencing the Emperor's New Clothes tale. I think someone already mentioned that. Message removed. I'm glad I didn't have to break the bank to get him. Definitely makes up for the disaster that was last Christmas. Yeah, last Christmas was a disaster because Valentine actually appeared. And also, Big Man Big Hits. No, Big Man Hit Big. So is he like the newer version of V Kango? I don't see it.
I mean
he
they're
does
like
a lot
in the
of damage.
I had this passing thought that it seems that Life Wonders is releasing a lot more Unga Bunga big damage magic range units. It started with Envari, but then we had Bound Kengo, and then we also had Hot Springs Daikoku as well as Hot Springs Horkyo Kami, and now we have Balor. So it's good we have more options for, not just relying on all range if you want to one turn large maps now.
feel like
Wide
the-
maps rather.
I feel like the big use of Unga Bunga Vikingo was the ability that he could both deal a shit ton of damage while also remain alive with guts. But Balor can deal more damage potentially than Vikingo, but also not survive at all unless he has guts from someone else or something like that.
Well, paralysis and
So,
that's
yeah.
all still thing, but yeah.
It is, yeah. I didn't mention that, but who knows?
I
To be
you
honest,
also
I-
don't move Balor, so yeah.
What?
You also don't have to move Balor. Unlike
Yeah,
you
that-
can't-
Oh, yeah, true.
Well,
true.
you know, not like moving another unit will help him protect them unless they also debuff them. Honestly, but they have like curse and that's it or something.
To be honest, I'd rather save for Halloween Toji when it comes to 5-star Magic Nether units, but Comtang is really good at making people forgo self-control. I don't really think Halloween Toji deals that much damage in comparison to all these units. He does deal pretty good damage, but it's mostly for the all-range Ice Shields. Just without infinitude. Bring your horse, it's guts memes time.
Yeah,
I
it could
can't
work.
stop staring. Yeah, it could. He also gives limit or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice. I can't stop staring at a specific spot. Oh no. No horny in the chat. Tezcatlipoca in the tank. That's what's worth staring at. Of course, everyone is staring at Tezcatlipoca.
I was just in awe that there were 2 Tezcatli in his art. I was like, what does this mean? What is the meaning of this? Are there 2 Tezes and I didn't know?
It's because
Probably his only friend or something like that.
A bit sad, but that's fine. Pardon?
it's because Meph sucks, so he doesn't get a spot.
that's what I was thinking. It was like there's a decent amount of warmongers, but some of them were conspicuously missing, like Mephistopheles and Yoritomo. And
No,
Tanager.
Yoritomo's there.
Is he? Oh yeah, I think he is. Maybe.
He's up there. Actually, I was surprised to see Yoritomo there. I didn't think he would have a Yoritomo plushie thingy there. But who knows? Maybe they will show more of that. Yeah, the event is nice. Ara, please. Mirror. I do not know what the mirror means.
Tezcatlipoca, probably.
Maybe.
Anyway, we are now done talking about Balor.
Is Tigray not in his art?
No.
Who?
Tigray.
No.
They've never interacted, but even
Really?
then, it's still it's weird that
Yeah.
he doesn't include all of them. This time.
Balor and Tigray never interacted either, so I mean, Tez makes a lot of sense, I guess, but the others, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I was. It's like either just make it Tezcatlipoca or all the warmongers. I'm like, why some of them? I don't get that, but
I feel like
whatever.
I feel like the reason will probably be seen soon-ish when
Soon,
those
yeah.
other people get when those other people get their variants or something like that. I don't know. Probably something like that.
Maybe.
Foreshadowing.
This is truly the most disrespectful year.
Okay, you got a couple more comments, and we'll just move on.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Mephistopheles is there. He's one of the presents.
I was looking hard.
Oh, right. I remember. Yeah, it has the pattern of
Oh,
Mephistopheles' cape or cloak or whatever it is. There's a present with that pattern there.
Like some of
It's
these are
really just-
obvious, like they're just plushy forms, and then others they're just like fucking Suzuka being a cupcake or some shit. So it's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah, there's like that balance.
Yeah, it's like the present on the bottom right. I think it's Mephistopheles' coat.
Oh yeah,
pattern thing.
it's that.
Oh.
Which one's the Burning Sun then?
That would be a
Burning
Tita,
Sun.
maybe.
Probably Tita, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tita, yeah. That's Tita.
I can't tell which ones are and aren't references.
this is even worse than Xmas Benton having like Makara's whistle to represent it.
Or fucking what's it called? Ahab's hat.
Yeah.
Gamma characters aren't allowed to appear in the game anymore. That's very sad. Not even in plucky form.
Alright, let's move on to the next unit. It is Itzamna. This will be covered by Zalgus. Go ahead.
Are you saying we don't want to spend forever trying to decipher this now?
No. We can do that another
We can
time.
decipher that later.
Yeah, we'll do that later. Right, Itzamna, someone who I actually pulled for just based on his kit alone because Unga Bunga damage, but anyway, so I'll start with the less interesting stuff. He has some minor personal defensive skills, turn start, tenacity. It's at 60%. I don't know why they keep doing this low tenacity stuff. Who was it? TV Star had a tenacity bestowal, wasn't it? And that was only 60%. I don't know why they did that.
Well, that was just they straight up used an existing status Mecha Man. And it was strange because it was like at a non-guaranteed rate, which is, I don't know how that works with a skill acquisition, whether it follows the bestowers or the receivers or, yeah, I don't know, it's a mess.
That's what, are you saying that Itzamna is a Mecha Man?
Yes.
The guy just will enjoy that. Right, he also gets face start regeneration at 90%, so that's nice. 90% is a reasonable rate, unlike 60% tenacity. Regen's fairly rare, so a nice fat 800 heal per turn for 3,200 HP in total, or 4 turn rather. And freeze weakening for thematic purposes. Itzamna also has freeze weakening on his regular variant. It just reduces his proc rates by like 50%, so don't let him get hit by freeze, or else you'll probably be doing nothing for the next few turns. Right, so the main gimmick of his kit, or actually, no, I'll talk about his CP gen first. So he starts with 60 CP when he appears at 100% rate. That's good because it's important for his main gimmick. And he gains 8 CP after attacking at 60% rate. This is... I kind of wish the base rate was higher, because CP is pretty integral to his kit, but since he's magic range and he'll be usually hitting a fair amount of enemies, it's a decent amount of generation. It's like, what, on average 6-ish CP or something like that, 5 point something or other. So it's not the worst thing, but I do kind of wish it was a bit higher. Right, and he also gives evasion to the ally in front when he hits at 50% rate. Since he's magic range again, he can fish for a fair few number of chances to actually proc it and give the person in front evasion and make them very tanky, so that's nice. Right, and now onto the main gimmick of his kit. So he, at the start of every turn, based on how much CP he currently has, he will give a unique attack buff to all allies around that scales by how much CP he has. For every 10 CP he has, it'll become stronger by 0.2, plus 0.2 for the first level, because if he has less than 10 CP, he'll still give 1.2 times buff. And it scales up to times 3. It's at 90% rate, annoyingly, but you know, that's nothing new. Since on turn 1 he starts at 60 CP, he will always start with a 2.4 times multiplier to all allies around, assuming you don't play around with stuff that, say, turn start gives him CP before he goes or something like that. So this is... So since it's a completely unique buff, there's plenty of opportunities to stack it with things, since obviously it will overwrite nothing. Although I haven't tested using 2 Itzamnas, but I'm sure that's... actually, I'll have to test that later. I'm not sure if you can do that.
Probably not.
That would be kind of funny if you stacked times 3 and times 2.8, but that would be troublesome for reasons I'll go through later. So yeah, he's based around controlling his CP. You can see that just from his nice increase, his ramping attack buff based on his CP. If Itzamna moves, the person in front will gain crit plus, and he'll give them 50 CP in exchange for 50 of his own CP, and he has to have 50 or higher CP to use this. So he's essentially just gifting it to them. Now, he can do this at turn 1 with his 60 CP. Of course, the problem is that the following turn he'll be left with 50 less CP, and it will drop his attack multiplier by quite a lot for the next turn, assuming you don't build to replenish it during the turn. Now, the crit plus is quite a strong buff. It's a ×5 multiplier, and combined with, say, his maximum unique buff ×3 when he's 90 CP or higher, that'll be a 15 times multiplier. Now, if I compare that to the example of Lianan, that she gives 11.52 times multiplier, assuming 100 HP for no limit boost. So that's a fair bit lower than Itzamna, but the thing you need to remember is that Itzamna has to have a very high amount of CP to do this. So it can actually be kind of troublesome to do it, and that's really the big problem with Itzamna, is that compared to some other units, if you're trying to go for the maximum value out of him of a ×50 multiplier, it's actually really hard to do that consistently, because you have to fill up his CP all the way up every single time. But I mean, there's certainly ways to build for it. There's plenty of CP battery units, say like Daikoku, who can... Daikoku gives 24 CP each turn to the people in front, so Itzamna will spend 50 CP and Daikoku will fill back half of it, so he can definitely make that back up. And what I didn't realize is that they changed all of the how the CS used to work is that if their CP was at 100, it doesn't matter if you reduce it, and go below 100 CP, you'll still CS and use all your CP. So thank you for pointing that out, because otherwise I would have given an inaccurate impression here. So if Itzamna's CP is at 100, he'll see, and you make him move, he'll give his CP out, and he won't CS and empty his CP out completely. So if you were to get him up there and then have someone like Daikoku fill him back up, you only need to fill 26 back up, and considering Itzamna's own magic range, it's not that hard to do it. You could also go, if you wanted to go as soon as possible, though, with the crit plus strat, you can do it from turn 1, and with his base CP of 60, that's 2.4 multiplied by 5, which was hang on, trying to find through my bloody notes. I don't know why I can't fucking find it. Well, whatever. It's around a 11% boost, which is still fairly high, around the Lianan tier. But unlike Lianan, he doesn't kill the target in front of him, and in fact makes them tankier. So that's one thing you could do. So compared to Lianan, he's a lot harder to use, I'd say. You need to build around him. You can't just slap him into any team. He needs the CP support.
Have you considered pairing him with another Itzamna so that they constantly give each other CP?
I did not consider that, but yes, I guess that's one thing you could do. I'll test that later, the attack buff stacking. But yeah, you can't slap him in any team, because if you don't have the CP support for him, he's just going to drain himself of CP more and more until he's left with a 1.2x buff, which sucks. So I already mentioned Daikoku. He gives a lot of CP per turn. There's Hell Onsen Miniaki. He gives CP on missing, I believe. Not as much as Daikoku, but Miniaki also offers other things like disabling effects. He has to hit things though. And there's also I get this is another thing where it would be easier if the wiki wasn't broken, but since he provides so much CP to the person in front, if he were to be buffing someone who CSs and gives allies a lot of CP, that could be pretty good too. There are only 2 examples I can think of off the top of my head because I like them, but also because the wiki's broken and doesn't seem to list everything I need. It's Xmas Yasuyori and Valentine's Moritaka. They both give CP to self and allies for each tile hit on magic range CS. So those 2 could possibly pair well by having Itzamna give them CP and then having them CS the following turn to refill everyone's CP and so on and so forth. But yeah, overall, yeah, I'd say he's all right. But he's definitely not a brainless unit, I'd say, despite what I initially thought, just because of the CP control that you have to play with him. Or I don't know if I'd really call it CP control, because you just want as much as possible most of the time. But yeah.
Yeah, unlike Balor, you don't have to play chicken with this because you can reduce your own CP and still maintain your charge. So it's just a matter of, you can go bars held full CP battery team just so that he keeps this thing up.
I wish I realized earlier that they fixed the CS thing, because my initial impressions were based upon the assumption that if he gets 100 CP, you're done, because he'll empty it out no matter what you do.
I think that's how we actually discovered that.
Yeah.
It now worked. The cancelling of CP of CSs.
Yeah, so that really helps out Itzamna, because it means he can safely get to 100 CP and still just go back down without completely fucking himself.
Honestly, I'm just a bit sad that the Kalki AR does not give Itzamna enough CP for him to continue, because that is such a big brain strat that
Oh, right.
pull off.
I mean, just get more dupes, obviously.
Right. I didn't mention his CS because you probably wouldn't be using it most of the time, but it's actually pretty good. Evasion, remove all debuffs and a heal to self and allies in a 2 square diamond radius. That's pretty huge.
Radius,
yeah, and the heal can be fairly significant. Like, if you manage to hit everyone, although you're likely, or you hit 5 targets, you're probably not going to be in that range. But let's say you hit 4 targets, that'll be a 2,000 heal.
Just use J-Eisen with the other AR.
Since it's a CS, the removal debuffs can also be used to get a skill lock type skill off of or type debuff off of Itzamna. Since, it's not affected by, or CSs aren't affected by skill lock. It won't work for CS lock, I guess. But I guess show the 2 ARs. So Itzamna, there are only really since he wants CP, there's only a few ARs that he really cares about, which is anything that can amp his CP gain. Single Balls Club, which will give him CP for any buffs he gets. What was it, like 10 CP or something? So Single Balls Club is good, obviously. What was the other one I put? Why am I so far behind on the broadcast?
It is a mystery.
Did you pull up the thing I said?
Oh, right. Sorry, I was spacing out there for a second. It's there.
Oh, you made it full screen. Yeah, so Single Balls Club for 10 CP, each buff he receives. 60%. I always forgot that the base rate was 60%. Yeah, that will be useful since he gives himself tenacity at the start of every turn. Well, 60% of the time. And regen at the start, which will increase how much he gives on turn 1. And Corridor de Tauros, which is Asterios and Taurus Mask. And that will further supplement how much CP he gets when he hits things. You can probably go back now. There are some other ARs for other units. Like I mentioned earlier, the Kalki Hati AR that gives CP when you to the unit behind when you hit things. That one would be useful in combination with Itzamna, depending on who you have in front. Alright, I didn't say who you should have in front. There are some units. Since Itzamna makes the unit in front of him a lot tankier, well, assuming he procs evasion, Itzamna would also probably appreciate getting buffs from them and CP, so there are a few units. Well, the ones I just thought of were Kamui and Oniwaka, who both protect the unit behind them.
I was going to say Kalki because he also applies evasion behind him. With his ability.
I completely forgot what we did.
You mean with the AR, the 5-star one?
No, he has the Wolf Maul ability that applies evasion to the
He does? I forgot that completely.
He has Sacrificial Defender or something.
I see.
But yeah, besides that, that's pretty much all I think about him. I think he's a decent unit, and one of the biggest things actually that I forgot to mention is that since Crit Plus and his own buff are, well, Crit Plus is extremely rare. Pretty much almost no one actually gives it except, or who was it? What's his face? Temujin as of recent. Or was that plus? It was just
it's Crit Plus.
Okay, so Crit Plus remains very rare, and his attack up is unique. So there's lots of opportunities for buff stacking here. You know, even if you're going straight away with Crit Plus, that's a 11 times multiplier, and that's without stacking with anything else. So yeah, lots of opportunities to stack buffs easily, but they have to be from somewhere that's not on move, because Itzamna has to move for that.
Can I make a suggestion?
But
Is it J Kagu?
Yes. Exactly. Well,
I was going to say
so-
that, but I was thinking about it for someone else. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, because the reason is that Itzamna gives a turn start irremovable 1-turn buff, which is a really good after buff effect. And if you put Jamboree Kagutsuchi right next, like horizontally adjacent to Itzamna, this buff triggers all of his stuff on turn start. So basically you can get 36 CP for free, 46 if you count arousal, and it actually charges Itzamna back up from 50 to 100. I've been playing around with it recently. It's pretty funny. So yeah, if you bring J Kagu, you can just use Itzamna Brain Dead. It's pretty funny. He just goes from 50 to 100.
I'm sorry,
That sounds pretty good.
Erbie, but I think J Kagu Milk is more of a meme than Erbie flat damage now. I just had to say that.
Flat damage has
yeah.
been dead for a while.
But yeah, you can also, but you don't even have to do single bulls Itzamna. You can just use you can just use whatever AR in Itzamna, and J Kagu can charge it back up from 50 to 100. I have the Kurogane Matsumara AR on him, so that also might be cheating a little, but yeah. Bring J Kagu, and you get Itzamna Crit Plus and 3x buff for free.
Well,
Yeah,
you
that
heard it
sounds
here, folks.
like
J
big
Kagu is more relevant than ever. He's always been relevant.
Well, Jamboree is meta in general.
Well,
Because like you have Jaizen and J Kagu, and everybody keeps talking about how they want J Shiro when they need it.
J Shiro is a meme because it's like we always say, you know, he could be neat, but then we have other options. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Boogeyman kind of helps mitigate the stupid turn start or a turn 1 positioning. There
Yeah,
you go.
I'll get there. Don't talk about my part. How dare you? I'm kidding. Yeah, I talked most about my points while commenting on Zalgus's point by point, but I do want to say just one extra thing, not really about the kit, but I do think about the kit design. It's kind of neat in terms of this treats it kind of like an MP meter, or, you know, magic point meter, where it's like only if you have enough magic points can you use your magic ability to give crit and CP to the unit in front of you, which is very fitting for Itzamna being a wizard or sage, I guess. Sage.
Oh, I had one more comment. I forget if it was mentioned, but I was kind of surprised that his attack was so low, but also unsurprised at the same time.
I mean,
It was like
just like his
23K.
base variant, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just expected his variant to be like like normal attack, but it's like super low.
Well, it follows in the same vein as his original. Even though his original has a different effect entirely, it's still you're moving them for a very strong effect to support your allies.
From defensive support to offensive support, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Or, well, I would describe Itzamna exclusive as defensive support, but that's where he best shines. His regular kit, that is. I think that is it. Was Erbie leaving that one comment only throughout this entire part? So, unless you have anything.
With Kalki, I guess.
Yeah, he talked about Kalki.
I guess that's fine. Alright, feel free to read the comments. Zalgus.
Where were we?
I always
Was that at message deleted from what I assume is a bot?
Yes.
I'm so glad I got Itzamna, but I really need to skill seed him for more consistency. Yeah, he pretty much none of his important things except his on appearance CP have 100% rate, so he definitely wants that. You could also equip him with the Alice Volos AR, I guess, if you wanted the glint, but I mean, there's also the Kuchi Lab AR if you wanted glint to everyone else as a support, but yeah, he would benefit from skill seeding. That evasion spam is actually bonkers. He doesn't even need to move for it. Yeah, 50% rate on magic range is pretty decent.
Triton power creep.
Oh yeah, Triton. Oh no, Abby. Where's his skill?
Yeah, that's a lie. Triton will never be power creep. He had the chance now with the new mentor, but it didn't happen.
Mentor power. Grandpa.
Mentor magically power.
Oh yeah, the AR, the Uchi Lab AR.
I do wish we had another mentor because it's like I want to bring my own Triton in the main slot so that I can actually take advantage of the Kulib AR from slot 1, but it feels extremely pointless to have 2 Tritons on main slot and I have to bring 1 support, so it's yeah.
Another unit for the Halloween out team who also happens to be a CP battery, plus their buffs don't stack, which means 144 times damage multiplier. Yeah, he'd be pretty good for it. Out gives, what was it, crit and ardor and CP. Yeah, so they would go well together. I'm up, awake, and here. I take it I already missed Balor though. Hello, Hidden.
Hidden was like, yeah. I was just talking to Hidden before the stream began, and did he like fall asleep right as it began? Jesus Christ. Well,
Possibly.
Maybe he was busy or something.
Yeah, Balor was the one previous to this. Unfortunately, yes. I think Wizard Lizard is really nice, yes. What was the consensus of him? He's simple, and he just hits like a truck with his only defenses being by inflicting ailments, and the ailments also make him hit harder. Let's see. Itzamna looks like he's really close to working around Muden Wakan's antisocial BS. I think the juggling act you'd have to do to get working is ultimately not worth it, but it's pretty interesting. I don't even remember what he does besides does more damage to faraway enemies and
That's
resistances.
The Mugen characters do not exist.
You keep on saying that, but weren't you the one who showcased the Mugen, like, what's it called, Tankaroa meme?
Yeah, I did, but also it does not exist still.
Okay.
Killer skill set, even more killer artwork. Basically, VKanger that hits harder but no guts. Well, I think a more important point is that he doesn't need to move, unlike some other magic range units.
I mean, Vikingo doesn't need to move either. He's pretty strong without moving. He gets one extra buff. He does move though.
Yeah, you want more damage. You could try not to force him to try be behind him to keep things simple as well. This is just me trying to force a support on Mugen Wakan lol. Again, I don't remember what he does. I remember that he also removes a bunch of his own, removes a bunch of attack buffs, but I guess crit plus and Itzamna's attack buff would work.
I'm pretty
But
sure
yeah,
his
that's
spread is like
pretty
turn start or something, so probably not.
Who, Wakang?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I've been thinking if Jamboree Shiro will be perfect for Itzamna because of the CS CP regen. I don't remember what Shiro does except for the positioning meme.
Weakness spread and vigor to allies, and I can't remember the rest. Fear, alright, he does fear shot range or some shit like that. That's it.
Oh, the CS is CP regen. I mean, you could do that, but since Shiro's not an attacker, you probably don't want him getting Itzamna's big CP load. But if you... I mean, my main assumption was that the person CSing to give Itzamna CP would be the person Itzamna is giving CP, so that, you know, it kind of feeds into itself. Yeah, it was 6 AM, so I went back to sleep.
God.
Thank you, Hidden. But glad you're here. Mugen characters aren't in the main pool, therefore they don't exist. Kind of true.
Triton doesn't exist.
Well, rude.
What, he's not in the main pool either?
At least people use him.
Because they have to use him, because Life Wonders won't release a different magic or snipe unit. Jesus Christ.
Who's Jin?
I mean, I think that people would still use him anyways, because let's be real, who uses any of the new mentors for dungeons?
I use Kruznik, he's so strong. He can actually like one-shot devils and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like legit. If only he would stop feeling combo.
Also, for the CP CS people, there's actually more people. I think the Valen Panic units in general have it, except Valen Shiro. Hakumen also generates CP on CS, though nobody uses her. And actually, Cait Sith also gives CP on CS and gives evasion to self, which is why I kind of liked it. I think also the Summer River units give CP on CS. At least, I think Summer Arachne did it. So yeah.
Is it to self and allies? Because I think on the wiki
For which
for
person?
I don't know any of them, because on the wiki on the increased CP page, I think it lists CP to self or charge skills that give CP to self and charge skills that give CP to allies, but not both. Which
Yeah, the ones that
more.
I'm talking about are as like self and allies. Yeah. Definitely Cait Sith though, because I'm looking at it right now. And Summer Arachne, because I have like, I don't know, 9 dupes of her. So yeah.
Jesus
I looked
Christ.
up-
So that's
Yeah,
where all
that's-
the Arachnes
at
went.
least a reason. I mean, I definitely know it for Valen Gunzo, because that's the Valen Panic theme, is that you get CP with your CS.
Okay, well in that case, the page appears to be it's listing Summer Arachne, but it doesn't list, say, like Yasuyori and Moritaka.
Okay.
That's mildly
yeah.
annoying.
But yeah, there's like a bunch more. There's probably like, I don't know. There's probably like a lot more. Maybe like Claude or Kengo. I forget.
Yeah, I would have been able to make a more comprehensive list, but after realizing that the page was incomplete, I just couldn't be bothered and just went with the 2 I knew.
Let's see. Can you continue reading the comments?
from Hidden. Life Wonders took notes from Fate Go for releasing limited units that are story relevant. Well, I haven't seen the latest chapters, so I wouldn't know how relevant the Mugen characters are, but I'm sure they'll be very relevant. Just like they took notes for the Blossoms, except in Fate Go, their version of Blossoms increased stats by 20 instead of 10 for the
I'm
max
sensing
amount.
salt. Well, it's
Salt?
fine. Hidden's being salty. Anyways, that's it for the comments for Itzamna. We should pick up the pace because we have around 40 minutes left before Erbie has to do a different thing. He doesn't have any more parts to tuck in this stream, but we do want him to reach the end. So we still have 3 more parts. We'll be talking about Arc next. This will be covered by someone, probably Milk.
I think it's Milk, yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to cover Arc because their kit is simple. If I had to do the other ones, I'd probably have to make graphics. Yeah. So I was kind of like on them when like their kit was released. But I think as people have figured out, they have a really strong CS. I'll get into it later. But so when they're outside of CS, they can move around and give protection to self and allies one square around themselves at a 90% rate, and heal their allies for 400 HP. And as people have figured out probably already, they have an after buff healing effect, which is at a 300 HP at a 60% rate. So if you keep hearing their skill activation line, that is what's happening. So that this part is I should also mention that they give 10 CP to self whenever they move as well at 90% rate. So this like defensive part is kind of like in that like Snow Eisen Surtur, like that sort of like old move to heal and protect allies.
The only
And
main
it's not
difference
really-
being not having CP with it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not really like that impressive now. Yeah. But as a trade-off, they can also deal sort of like okayish damage because they can give crit to themselves when they move, an 80% rate. And with their snipe damage, this calculation turns out to be 11.4k damage because they can also give burn to the hit units, and they have a 2x attack modifier against burn. So it's like decent damage for snipe units, like 11.4k is okay. What I don't like though is that you have to move to get it. And moving to get 11.4k snipe damage in this game is just kind of shitty nowadays because you have people like Balor who just does, I don't know, like 15k magic damage at least on phase start. And that's by himself. So, and of course you have people like Linan who just like buffs like people for like shit tons of damage. So 11.4k with moving is just kind of like you don't have to move them technically. Like you can keep them in place and they'll get limit, and they'll deal like 5.7k at the very least. But because of their after buff healing, you probably won't get like the higher ranges of limit. So it scales from 5.7k to 11.4k, but realistically you're gonna be getting 5.7k with them because of the after buff healing. So what is more interesting though is their CS, because if you keep them unmoved, they have a CS weapon change all, and what happens is that if you calculate an SALV1 with limit and all range, this turns out to do 18.7k damage due to applying burn and conflagration and having a scaling factor from Ardor and having burn advantage and limit. So this is actually a pretty sizable CS because Tsathoggua, for example, gives only 10.2k all
What?
range CS damage.
Seriously? Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, with
I guess
this,
Mexico is
Ron
really
attack
outdated then. Jeez.
I mean, Beach Kotaro does like, I don't know, 4.5k, like SALV1, but like his niche is that like, you know, is that
He can pierce evasion and
does
remove
extra-
debuffs, and he can still
Yeah.
get a bunch of buffs on top of that too. Yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of raw damage, Arc is probably the strongest or one of the strongest when it comes to all range. I mean, it's like double Tsathoggua, like that's basically that. And you're applying burn and conflagration to all the enemies, so the rest of your team can like follow up and deal like 3k flat damage or something, right? So that's somewhat of a niche. The other flip side though is that technically their CS is a below range CS. So if you move them and get crit, this turns out to be 287k damage below range at SALV1. So they can function as like a board wiper and as a bot as a single target nuker. So pretty interesting.
Could be useful in those
And
multi-phase
Yeah.
high difficulty quests where sometimes you need to face an individual boss and sometimes you need to clear a large amount of enemies. So she could be, they could be good with dealing with either or.
yeah. The other thing is that because it's tied to an if unmoved condition, they can save up their CS because it's a blow range. So you don't. It's not like other all range units where you just like all range even if there's like one enemy left. You can like control when they do their CS, which is kind of neat. And if you're like some unfortunate person who's like pulled like for Balor a lot, and then you got a lot of these dupes, because they have Ardor on CS, this scales up to like four times because you get the extra from the SALV and you also get extra from Ardor. So yeah, if you have a high SALV arc, you are going to be doing like really stupid amounts of CS damage, especially all range. There's one other aspect that is a little bit interesting, is that they give when appearing prayer to everybody except themselves. So if you can combine that with the Kool-Aid AR, you can give glint and prayer to everybody except Arc.
It's kind of interesting because it doesn't really synergize per se with anything else in the rest of her kit. So in a sense, it's kind of just like a whole different reason to bring her, irrespective of how she normally plays. Or they normally play.
Yeah. So, yeah. And the last thing that I haven't really talked about is that they give turn start conflagration to themselves. And this is to trigger a plus 20 CP after debuff effect, which happens at 100% rate. And that's pretty good because they really need a CP boosting. So the basic like TLDR is that they have really strong CS damage, build it up, and like try to get them CSing all the time. So so there's some good synergy due to the turn start conflagration with people who remove debuffs. So again, that's Jamboree Aizen, because he can suck that up, get all his stuff, and then Arc will just keep reapplying their after debuff effects and conflagration. So that's a way to charge it. You can also use people who apply debuffs like Summer Shen or the Poison AR that's new. And that's also another way to get the plus 20 CP. And debuff removers in general, I don't know, the new Cait Sith, you can use them as well. And the cons is basically that the in-between CS stuff just kind of sucks, I think. It's just very mediocre. Moving to get like crit and like 11.4k snipe damage, I don't really like it. I mean, it's like okay with like other buffs, but it's just like I don't really like moving just to get that much that much damage.
Um,
And
in a way, it could also help with what's it called? If you only have a few enemies left and you don't want to waste their charge, you can just keep on moving instead to heal your team up until they're full health and save your charge for the next phase until you clear that phase. So that's a neat way of using them instead for that protection and heal effect.
yeah, so in my opinion, the people who synergize with them is basically anybody who can buff their CP. So I would recommend the best CP support, which is Leaked 5, because Leaked 5 can also give Vigor and Attack up, which is pretty good. I've been using Arc and Leaked 5 for the farming quest, and
Same.
it deals a pretty fair amount of damage. Yeah.
Leaked 5 battle, let's go.
Oh, I was using Leaked
It
4
is
instead.
pretty good. I've been using Leaked 5 because of the CP and the damage buffs as well. It's pretty good. Leaked
Yeah.
5 meta. Arc also gives him like prayer, and I also have the Lint AR on him, so
Yeah.
so I don't need to see Leaked at all.
Also, the other CP battery that everybody likes to use is Christmas Ryota, so that might also be an option. And of course, I have my favorite CP battery, which is Jamboree Kagutsuchi.
Of course.
So, yeah. But yeah, it's basically just get their CP to like 100. Either choose to nuke or like act like mini Jacob and like destroy an enemy. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay.
For ARs, I didn't really have anything to like really suggest because other than the Kool-Aid one, because they didn't really have a lot of good options in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree, the Kool-Aid AR is strong, but in a sense it doesn't really synergize with the rest of the kit for the same reason the Prayer one doesn't. But that doesn't mean you should not consider bringing it. If you are sticking with that strategy, you may also want to consider bringing Smoky God and some concentration and Glint Restore just to fully max it out. You'll get a lot of
Gambler meta.
yeah, for that one turn gambler. But yeah, for the rest of the kit, they seem fairly self-sufficient. As I said, you could just wait to save your charge if you're about to clear, and then use their charge at phase start by just not moving them. And they do respectable self-sufficient damage.
Yeah, I would say the trait I like the most is definitely the Prayer and Glint to the entire board because, man, having that 20% extra rate for guaranteeing some stuff, or in Valentine Elite's case, makes it more reliable because he's still stuck at like 60% rate.
70% is his base attack up rate. If you seed him and then you also have the Kool-Aid AR with Arc, then it should be 100%.
Yeah, but then I have to seed him.
Right.
Yeah, I'm using Valen Elite.
I see.
But yeah, it's really nice. Valen Elite can actually get all three. He can get Concentration, Prayer, and Glint on his own. So, but yeah, I like that a lot. Prayer is very rare, and now we have a way to easily give to everyone that isn't pull Arc AR. Now it's just pull limited Arc.
I mean, they're both 5-star, it doesn't help, but...
Yeah. Also, that new Nomad Gabriel AR, which is like the bonus AR that they have for this event, is actually guaranteeing like their relevant skills, like the crit and stuff. So if you like are seeing that you aren't like proccing stuff, it might be because you're using a support that doesn't have that AR. So that's also a good choice for them because missing crit is kind of shitty.
Yeah.
You know, I
it's
didn't
like-
even consider that because I actually do have this AR for my Arc. So yeah, I think I have 100% completion rate or a 3-turn rate then. Cool.
Yeah.
Damn, 100% crit on move. Do we have any other
Yeah,
units
so-
like that?
100% crit.
On move?
I don't know. I can't really think of anything.
Okay.
Maybe like a seated like a. Is Anvari have like a high crit rate, or is it like
That's
some
face
weird
start.
rate?
There's this thing, and his on move one is like
He has
only
on-move.
40% or some shit like that.
Is it really a
Yeah,
low rate?
I
for
think it's
Anvari?
100% on move after seeding on Anvari.
No, concentration is, but not crit.
Oh, doesn't he have like some shit like excavator? Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know,
Probably
it's
like
a derivative of that
64%.
for his 5-star, but it's still not
No,
guaranteed.
no, it's actually excavator. He actually just literally has excavator.
Oh. Well, yeah, it's not guaranteed. So that would, I guess that means either we're just forgetting, or Arc really is like one of the most reliable crit damage dealer we have for on move.
But yeah, I would just build up their CS and like do stuff with that. It's really strong.
Unfortunately, I can't confirm or deny because the wiki's broken, so most of the skills don't actually have it listed.
Yes, the key's
yeah.
broken. You must
Have the-
rely in your mind palace and access the memories from within Zalgus. Do it.
All right, I guess I
When
should.
is the wiki getting to? Okay.
I guess. Yeah. There's like that alternative skill wiki, but it doesn't allow querying yet. So you gotta pester RJ for that.
One day, TM. Anyway, I think that's
How
all.
about Wrong or no, not Wrong How about Kresnik?
Resnick?
What about Chris?
He's not on move. He's not on move.
Yes.
Oh, we just talking about on move. Never mind then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
like,
had one last
actually just
thing.
there to compensate for his combo penalty. But yeah, go ahead, Milk.
Yeah, I have one last thing. It's you can also use them with Valentine Itzamna for the CP pistol, and that's actually a banner unit. So yeah, you can use it. You can use them with Itzamna.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. You also need different sources for CP for both of them, but yeah. Alright, if that's everything, then we can move
Does
on to...
Hote count?
I don't have Hote, but so it's like I only remember his crit steal and he does other stuff maybe, but
It's just crit steal that I don't even know what rate that is.
it is a mystery.
Okay.
Alright, let's not tell you. Feel free to read the comments, Milk.
Tested arc CS damage with Valentine Itzamna. Yeah, you would want to use them. And a few others buffs like Vigor, Berserk Plus, and Normal Crit, and boy, Arc was able to deal 33 million damage in all range. Yeah, they have really high CS damage. And it was kind of surprising because I thought their kit was like somewhat mediocre just reading it. But, you know, like, it's like double Tsathoggua damage. It's just that the charge rate is lower. So yeah, if you can like build around it, then it can be really strong. Kagu propaganda for his eventual return this year. Well, I don't want to say stuff like eventual return considering we're still waiting on fucking Fashionista, but yeah.
Fashion shit show, more like.
You could use Durga Gunzo AR for extra CS plus giving arousal to allies. Oh yeah, I guess I should mention that you can just give like, you know, them the CS multiplier increasing ARs, and Durga Gunzo is one of them. Free burn without having to move though. Does that like really matter? Feels like Orc.
For like, I guess Searcher maybe? Valentine Searcher? I don't know. Some people have burn advantage, don't they?
Shiva.
Yeah, I was thinking of like stuff like Summer Shiva, but there's already an example of like what is it? Orkyu Kamui Onsen, who gives burn when attacking. So yeah, I didn't really think too much of it. Wow, just logged in and heard Ara bullies Arc.
Did I? I mean,
I don't remember.
The only thing I'd be bullying Arc about is just, you know, the fact that, like, hey, I exist after not appearing for, like, several chapters. And then they're here to remind us every single time and pulling them instead of Balor. As a side note, I do think it kind of peeves me up that they keep on giving us the advantage to burn stackables, but not giving us the burn stackable excessively.
What keeps peeving me is the fact that Bind still does not have Bind. Not Arc still does not have Bind on their kit.
Yeah, I mean, Ryota doesn't have countdown, so fair play. But
I
still.
know, but Ryota does not have the rule of countdown.
Okay, fair enough. There's no
There's
binding
Nomad.
roads. Go ahead.
There's Nomad's 100% crit on move at 100% HP. Oh, I keep feeling that I have to remember Nomad for Skivo for whatever reason.
See, I was actually thinking Nomad, but I was just like, I forgot the rate. I thought it was 70%, and you mentioned that you needed the 20% AR
Oh,
for something.
70% rate is for the allies.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. 100% crit on move is anyone with an
Shut up,
Onsen
Harvey.
Shoujo
Shut up, Harvey.
Don't you have Onsen Shoujo? Why are you mad?
No, I do, but obviously I'm not thinking like that. I mean natively. Jesus Christ.
Also that. Okay, that's all the comments. Apparently, nobody wants to talk about Arc.
Well, we had more than I expected, honestly. Like, it's just Arc, aka the person that talked everyone from Balor. But it's fine.
I'm right though. Frowning face.
Sure you are. Anyways, let's move on. We are now going to talk about Kechi. This will be handled by Zalgus. Go ahead.
Bit of a rush, aren't we?
Well, yeah, Erbie's thing is coming up soon.
Yeah. Right, so Keshi has one major gimmick, so I'll talk about literally everything else first, because they're all unimportant. So he has some unimportant face style stuff. He has Arousal to allies adjacent to self, 90% rate, sure I guess, and Tenacity to self at 100% rate, which I'm actually quite surprised it's 100% rate, but I guess that guarantees him some tankiness for turn 1 anyway. Immunity to drain, whatever, I guess. It's annoying when it happens, but it doesn't happen often, but no reason not to have it. Since immunity is nice enough too, Keshi doesn't need to move, but it's always nice to have the option to move him. He has Ruler still, phase starts CP2, allies in a 2-square diamond range, because he is one of the tycoons, and he gives some support to the allies in slash range in front of him. He gives CP after attacking, also at a 60% rate. I don't know why we have so many of those for this banner. And he removes debuffs to allies in slash range when he attacks at a rate of 70%. This is a okay rate. It's honestly about average on par with other similar abilities. He can fish for it twice.
I feel like the remove buff is fairly low in rate for other abilities, isn't it?
It's more like some of the more recent stuff.
Oh, okay.
Then again, I did only give it a quick look, and again, most of the statuses are missing. So, and going off of what I saw there, but yeah, it's an alright rate, and he can fish for it twice since he's shot range. So, or he could potentially remove 2. So that's nice. Now, his main gimmick is, at the start of every turn, he will give 3 unique buffs: Bestow Ardor, Bestow Tenacity, and Bestow Concentration, which I have helpfully highlighted in a horrific pink magenta. So he will give it in that formation. Now, what those do is it gives a skill to the unit in that slot, when they move and at the end of the move phase, so it can actually happen twice. They will give that buff in a 2-square line, left and right. So if you have them in a square or in a slash formation in front of Keshi, that's what it will look like. Everyone in that slash range will get all 3 buffs. But you need all 3 people to be there. So, annoyingly, it's an 80% rate for Keshi to bestow this. So you need something more than just Skill Seed or Glint. So you would need both. Now this effect, which is pretty much the only thing I would use him for, it's quite strong. It's 2 offensive debuffs and 1 defensive debuff, all bundled into 1 skill. Which, I mean, trying to get that in a single kit is quite impressive, and Keshi has it all in 1 skill at the cost of the rest of his kit. I wasn't really able to think of another unit who could give all of that to multiple units at once. The limiting factor is that it has to be in this formation. You can't. There's no variation about it. You have to have them in one row and one row only. This also means that Keshi can't receive any of these buffs, so you'll be relying on his frontliners to defend him if need be.
He has tenacity, Zalgus. Please start.
Only for one turn, unfortunately. So yeah, if you do elect to try and buff Ketshi with one of them, the next turn Ketshi won't be able to give them the bestow skill. So yeah, you do need to keep them in front of him at all times if you want to continually refresh it. At least for the tenacity, the ardor and concentration last for 2 turns, so you can maybe do that every 2 turns. But yeah, that's a kind of annoying to play around. But yeah, since it's turn start though, you will never be able to have this entire setup on turn 1 because Ketshi can only ever have 2 people in front of him on turn 1 or phase 1 turn 1 because it'll always be 2 on left, 2 on right. So unfortunately you can't get both attack buffs out on turn 1. You can always get tenacity at least because he should always have someone in front of him, assuming they actually spawn in the same column. But yeah, this is pretty much what he's mainly good for. So as a buffer, I think Ketshi's actually alright now, which, compared to his regular form is actually good, my god. He does provide a lot of value, because that's a lot of buffs to be bundled into one skill. Of course, like I said, the downside is that the formation is completely rigid. You can't change from this. So, I mean, there are definitely units who, much like Itzamna, if you put a defender in the middle right in front of Ketshi, they can give him evasion or defenses like, again, Oniwaka and Kamui. And I'm sure there are other units I'm forgetting. But Ardor and Concentration are, as a combination, are alright. Concentration is on the rarer side. Ardor's pretty common. But yeah, there's plenty of other buffs to use, so Vigor, Attack Up, Brawn, even though Brawn's rare. But yeah, I think he's definitely alright. He's just, much like Itzamna, he forces a particular team comp. You can't slap him into one and expect him to just work. He would also benefit from someone who has increased horizontal movement. If you need to reposition the entire formation, you would need to move over with a horizontal mover, otherwise you won't get anywhere. Although ideally, if you don't want to mess with diagonals, you would use someone with omnidirectional movement, which is a lot rarer, unfortunately. But yeah, he would pair well with someone like that. And because I know Milk's going to say it, Jamboree Kagutsuchi would be good to place in front of Ketshi to defend him. Jamboree Kagutsuchi offers protection to self and adjacent allies after buffs. So that'll be 3 buffs that go onto Jamboree Kagutsuchi, and then he can give out protection for a further protection buff or defense buff for the front line, and 1 defense buff for Ketshi. And that's about it. His alright, his CS is apply evasion to self and CP to allies in a 2 square diamond radius, so ruler radius again. That's good because he'll actually be able to hit the allies diagonally.
Doesn't have any way to get his charge though, so it's good, but it's not really reasonable.
Well, if you're playing with someone who can defend him, some of them give him CP. I think, who is it? Kamui does. I don't remember. I only gave it a cursory look, but the evasion's nice, and the CP is nice too. Since it's magic range, you can potentially get a decent amount. As for ARs, I didn't really find any that are particularly outstanding on him, so I just went for the Alice Volos AR, the Success Must Be Sought After one, just for Glint, because he really would appreciate another proc rate buff because they made it bloody 80% for some reason. I mean, at least it's not like the rate on his regular version.
I have this conspiracy theory almost that we're going to be seeing 80% a lot more now that the Kool-Aid AR exists, so that we have to see them and use a Kool-Aid AR.
Possible and kind of messy.
Yeah.
Don't make me skill seed.
I had comments about the formation, is that there is a little bit of flexibility due to Ardor and Concentration being 2 turn buffs, in that you can alternate like Ardor on turn 1 and Concentration on turn 2, and like adapt to square formation where you like have Keiichi like move left and right in the bottom, like in the bottom row.
Oh,
if
that's
that makes
pretty
sense.
fancy. So it's like he's just kind of shifting left and right. Kind of like
Yeah, so yeah, it's a little bit complicated like compared to just like doing the slash formation. But yeah, if you like really wanted to do the square formation, then that is like something which gets both like Ardor and Concentration, and it's like a different formation. I'm not sure if it's worth the effort, because when I tried it, like trying to move this stuff in like the wide quest was like kind of annoying, but it's an option. I also had one other synergy that goes well with Keiichi, and it's Christmas Citry, because you can get a free evasion on turn 1 to set things up with Christmas Citry, and you can spread it back to Keiichi. Although, like, does he really need the damage because he's in the back? Maybe not. But like, yeah, it's there.
I didn't actually look at what his attack stat is, so
It was like the average one. It's actually kind of low, 3.6, 3.7. Yeah, that's not really great.
That's pretty low. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is that if you're in this slash formation, it might actually be a bit hard team building depending on what you choose, because 2 range attack buffs and whatnot are actually kind of rare. Most of the time it's like adjacent or 1 square around, so people on the opposite side of the formation might have a hard time trying to buff people on the other end. So that is something to consider. There are some units like, say, Surtra, who I forget if he gives tenacity or protection though.
Which one?
Vanilla Surtra.
He gets protection.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Vanilla Surtra would work like on one side. I think there's also what's his face, Festival Nobuharu. He does plus range, but I forget if that's what buff that was.
For Ardor.
Okay, yeah. Never mind then.
Yeah.
Forget him. But yeah, that will definitely, if you're doing a slash formation like this and trying to have a buffer on one side, try to buff someone on the other, you're going to need to plan better for that, because the pool is a lot rarer.
Okay. Yeah. Oh right, I had one other thing to say, is that since the range is so wide, like, because it's like 2 squares away, technically like the way you can like offensively buff somebody with Keiichi in like a wide quest is actually rather far with like Ardor or Concentration.
Kind of acts like a janky Yoritomo in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, except like you have a bit more flexibility because you can move people around to choose like where you apply the buff. So yeah.
Yeah, could be good if you're really scraping for, far distance buffing. Don't have much to add besides could be good units thrown for, tall map quick clears. Won't necessarily help you for turn 1 if he's not positioned properly. For example, if he's in like slot 4 and he's not, like, he's directly in front of someone, then he's only gonna give that tenacity spread, but in the later turns he should be able to buff everyone, which is those 2 damage buffs, which essentially is like just greater than crit at that point. Unfortunately, it's not guaranteed, so yeah, you may want to consider using like Arc with the Kool-Aid or something like that.
It kind of galls me that he has the 80% begging for a skill seed, because his base version is so bad that I don't want to skill seed him.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Any thoughts, Erbie? You're right where you are.
My thoughts are that I do not like this unit, and I purposefully skipped it during my review because I thought it was ridiculously restrictive, to be honest. I see the potential with all the buffs and all that, but I would never see myself using this in comparison to a lot of other offensive buffers.
Me too, but that's because I don't have them.
I think it's fine just because like 2 offensive buffs, 1 defensive buff is like pretty good for 4-star. That's just my opinion.
I think it's good for that too. What's it called? In my current tall map setups, they're just for like easier quests that don't need Kechi's help, so Kurgani can just sap most of their health, or Nomad can do enough scaling damage. I do wish that it wasn't concentration but some other buff, just because I feel like it would have been, he would have been really good with Nomad for the same map that he's good with tall maps. But the concentration's a bit redundant there because he already gives concentration as a result. But yeah.
Yes, I forgot to mention, this is something I only realized last night, but he does that info in that box isn't wrong. He does actually do it after moving, or the skill does bestow after moving and after move phase, so it does it twice, which is actually kind of pointless, except in the case where there's a nullify buff. It will get rid of that, and then you'll get the buff anyway because it will go move phase end. But for all intents and purposes, they are the same thing. I believe you said that you thought it was just for like future-proofing bundling skills or something.
No, I was just saying it seems right now Life Wonders is taking the approach with this skill effect that is new move phase end. It seems they're pretty much always bundling it with after moving. They're never gonna do it without the moving part as well, unless they change their mind in the future. But so far it's been like that. There hasn't been a single one without it after moving being identical.
Yeah, but if nullified debuff is ever relevant, like it was in that one Kamui Hell on Sen CQ phase, I guess this could help mitigate it, maybe.
Yeah, I guess. Sorry, I was just reading something Erbie typed. Yeah, I think that's all we can say about this. You're free to read out the comments now if we haven't done that already. Zalgus.
Yeah, I wrote it out already. You just didn't see it. No. Time for the cat. I love Cait. Cat. His ult is so cute. Yeah, it's pretty cute. It's a little conductor. My new member for the coin miners. Yeah, he can probably do that pretty well. Or that he can like buff everyone. Or that might not work out too well for turn 1 though, is the problem. Unless, well, if you had him in the 4th slot and he appeared in the middle and someone appeared on his right, you could get all of the buffs on turn 1, but I would plan around that because then that kind of defeats the purpose of trying to make things go fast if there's a random chance. If kept the granted 3 attack buffs, he would probably rival Leonan when it comes to immediate power and 2 more units too. That would be extremely strong because you would be able to grant it to 3 people as opposed to Leonan's 1. Although a lot of Leonan's use also comes from the fact that she has Omni movement. But yeah, he provides a decent amount of power since he's providing it to the entire team and has defensive power. He has 10%. What? 10% what? Tons of CP and a debuff cleanse. I see him as a safer Leonan. 10%.
Don't worry about it.
His multipliers are actually on par with Yoritomo until he starts draining HP. Yeah, providing 2 attack buffs. I like how the stream's theme is let's make everyone that didn't get Jikaku suffer. Like, I can't remind myself of that. I mean, I wouldn't call him essential, but...
Milk's just, he's what you call an advocate. So, may or may not be biased, so don't...
He's synergizes with a lot of people, but I wouldn't call him essential. There's plenty of team comps you can make without him. He just fits well into these. I tried to make the coin team. He actually made my run slower because he gives so much CP that made everyone CS too much. Yeah, it's a 60% rate, but if you're going to be shooting like 1-2 units every time, then yeah, there is the potential to get a lot. Life Wonders, we can't steal seed everyone. Yep, Smokey God, him or her then.
I'm pretty sure it's him. Catchy, that is. You got a couple more comments.
I have never used J-Kagu. I don't know what he does though. He gives CP out when he gets debuffed, I think, and also defensive buffs when he gets debuffed.
He gets
buffed,
he
rather.
gives CP when he's buffed is the thing.
Yeah.
Araket sounds like a catchy. I don't know how to respond to that, but okay. I'm sorry I read that comment. I saw my name and I read it out loud. Anyways.
So J-Kagu can give out a lot of CP because of the on buff stuff. So there's a few meme videos Milk has done with him.
Okay.
I don't know which Akechi this is. A Goro Akechi from Persona 5 or something.
Alright.
But yeah, we can probably move on.
So, before we move on, Erbie seems to want to go. Do you have anything to say? You'd like to say maybe about Boogeyman or about the banner overall before you head out, Erbie?
I like the Boogeyman's kit because of the repositioning ability. Everything else is kind of
well, that's
whatever.
Yeah, I agree, but we'll get more to that.
Not the mentor ability.
Honest, his 3-star doesn't even have the pull for it. The enemies.
Yeah, the mentor one doesn't have the same one as the 4-star, so it's kind of like, who cares? I would rather just use that anyway because he has extra movement. So, but yeah. And in terms of the banner, I think it's a really good banner, to be honest. Overall, it has
no Balor bias.
Really strong units. It's not Balor bias. I think all of them are actually pretty strong, and there is no such thing as a Christmas Aussie in this banner. So, yeah, it's already.
I guess that's true.
Forgot about that.
It's already a great banner by comparison to the last Christmas. Yeah, those are my thoughts.
You ever see a unit on release and you're just like, wow, they already need an Evo? Yeah, that was Ose.
Yeah,
that's so bad.
Anyway, thank you for joining us up to this point, Erbie. I know that I didn't assign you later parts, so you were kind of quiet lady, but it's because, to give you some burst of time. Anyways, if we're keeping you, you can head out now. But again, thanks for joining us. Say goodbye, everyone, to Erbie.
Good luck with the final unit. Bye.
Bye, Erbie.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Oh, I forgot to say I really like the music as well. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Alright, so Erbie's out, so let me properly introduce the Boogeyman, which is what I'm responsible for. And I have not been responsible for units since the very first topic, which was the 3-star AR. But, alright, time to learn how to speak again. The Boogeyman is a unit who, a bit like Ketchy, is defined much by their very first skill, and then the rest is kind of just there. So, he has an attraction mechanic, which is, I would say, the main reason you'd want to use him. So for now, I'll just describe his main skill bundle as being the ability to pull allies as well as enemies towards him on the board. If you're playing with this 3-star, it's only allies. And when I say pull towards them, I really do mean pull towards them no matter where they are, except for one direction, I guess. So if they're behind him, they'll be pulled closer to him towards the battle zone border. And if they are to the left of them, they'll be pulled to the right. If they're to the right of them, they'll be pulled to the left. If they're in the bottom left of them, they'll be pulled to the top right. And if they're in the bottom right, they'll be pulled to the top left. The one exception is he doesn't actually pull units towards him that are ahead of him for some reason, which is, I don't really know why. He does for enemies, of course, but like for allies, no. He also is a movement disruptor in the sense that, well, being able to move everyone, not like that, changes everyone's movement ranges in a way that like makes them likelier for him to get the aggro just because the enemies on principle are closer to him. And he also has he also applies fear to the enemy combatants he hits. So if they're in range because they get stuck in closer to him, then he'll be able to freeze them. And if they are... He also has some tankiness to deal with it by applying curse to the units after he is hit. as well as Guts if he misses. And he's also able to disrupt their movement even more, just by them being near, whether he gets it or not, or he hits or not. Because he's able to apply break in a 2-square diving radius, both at move phase and as well as post move, just the sort of shtick. And yeah, all that combined means that there's going to be a bunch of enemies nearby him that wants to attack him, but that ends up getting frozen for one reason or another. And he can take some amount of damage because of his curse. Although it is after he gets it, so the first hit will always... well, the stream itself should be fine because I'm talking to you guys and I'm using the same internet connection. It drops and then it stopped. My internet connection did for some reason. That was weird. Anyways, just to reiterate, what was the last part you heard me say, guys? In terms of his kit?
I don't remember. I was too distracted by the robot.
You guys. Anyways, he's a movement disruptor. He pulls him closer, therefore is more likely to get that, that aggro just by being close. And he can also tank a bit because he is able to reduce their CP as well as get have guts and curse, and he can freeze enemies in place either by break and fear. So there's many mechanics that lets him disrupt the enemies in that way. And that's pretty much it for his mechanics. His 3-star also has the mentor ability, but it doesn't really work with the rest of his kit, I would say. So yeah, his main thing really is being his attraction mechanic. Like the additional auxiliary stuff with fear and break, they're nice, but it's like the thing with his attraction mechanic is he needs to miss in order to activate the pull in the next turn. Now, you may be wondering why exactly it's 5 turns on a 5-turn clock. Well, they set this up in a way so that, for one, they are able to have this status as a skill, or status that lets you acquire a skill, overlap with each other so that they only last 2 turns each, but they effectively only go for 1. By giving them different IDs, you are able to have them overlap with each other, and so that one will always activate every turn. So you'll be always be pulling one as long as you miss in the previous turn. Another peculiar thing of why it's 5 turns, because technically that could be achieved with 2 turns, but it's 5 turns because there is a good chance, well, an okay chance, if you want to bring the Boogeyman into a dungeon, because he does have that mentor skill. And that's just a way to deal with some weird skill effects, skipping hackiness that happens when you end up entering skip battle phases during the dungeon runs. For example, if you're in a treasure room or in a healing room or in a damage room, those ones will make it so that you just mess up the order, and you might end up skipping a turn if it was only a turn clock. If you missed one, then you wouldn't even be pulling in the next turn as a result. So it's a bit weird like that. But yeah, it's a really hacky solution to deal with dungeons, essentially. So, yeah, he pulls once when he appears, and then he pulls every time in the next turn after he misses. That's the general gist of him, and he does it at a really high rate, I would say. It's 90%, and if you skill seed him or give him glint or whatever, they'll be guaranteed. So it's really easy to get this mechanic that has been kind of, restricted to only phase start or to limited range all this time, and now it applies to the entire board constantly every turn. For example, our previous board pullers were units like Behemoth or what's it called? Behemoths would be pulling only on phase start, though, as well as Christmas Eve. And we would also have units like Dagon, who can do it like turn start, but it would only be like on a 3x3 range in front of him, and also like one of them is only on move. But here he doesn't have to do anything, he just has to exist and not attack for him to pull all enemies together. And in an even better way than them, because he pulls them laterally closer as well as by horizontally. Sorry, he pulls them horizontally closer as well as vertically. And that has a lot more benefits than I expected. The more I was running suggestions, the more I realized how bottomless the amount of suggestions there are for this unit is. So anyone who benefits from densely packed enemies in close range would benefit. This includes both large range and short range units. Well, large range excluding all range, because that would be pointless at that point. But yeah, units like that have range extensions through combos, such as Happy Illusion Licho or regular Macroic or Jamboree Morichalka can actually properly function now. Like, even Macroic can function properly because everyone will be pulling closer, and then he can also get in range to attack them with snipe range as well, because they'll be horizontally closer as well. And magic range units because they have large range. So Valentine can go, Hot Springs Horkei Okami, Daikoku, Beach House and Bari, Fantasy Balor, there's a lot. White slash units as well, regular Yimao, Virtual Summer Memory Shinong, Nicholas Kasuga, Summer of Adventure Tajikaro. But in addition to large range units, short range units also benefit, especially those with on-strike effects affecting multiple enemies. Because, you know, below range units, when they're meant to attack, they're often like not in range, there's no enemies nearby. But with this, it's like no problem at all to have an enemy always nearby for you to hit. So the list is, again, nearly endless with Battle of the Bells Pollux, Nodens, Fashionista Suzuka, Hot Springs Miniaki, Masanori, and he affects one unit, but then one unit can hit multiple units with possession. Volsa South, Tangaroa, Mugen, Ellie, Sunshine Z's. It also helps support units dependent on hitting units, such as Triton, who needs to hit lots of units to activate evasion more likely, or regular Claude, regular Tadatomo for Guts, regular Z's, regular Choji, regular Ryota, Jamboree, Shio for the weakness being spread more likely. So that's a lot. Like, I feel like it's almost redundant. I don't like most of those. We probably have just glossed through, but essentially, Boogeyman's one mechanic of just pulling, not even like buffing or damage buffing or freezing. That one mechanic of pulling everyone closer together, bunching them up, benefits a huge swath of units. Now, besides that, he also enhances turn 1 position because he's able to pull allies as well. By doing so, he's able to extend Sandayu's range so that he's actually a bit closer, at least guaranteed to be, like, you know, not just hugging the edge of a large map, and therefore is able to reach the edges more likely anyways. Because Sandayu's range is, I believe, with extended horizontal along with movement, omnidirectional movement, that should be +2 to left or right. So he wouldn't be able to reach the very edge if he started at the edge. But if he was pulled closer by one, then by Boogeyman, for example, he would be able to reach the entire map, just like Tsathoggua 5 with his Evo. And Jamboree Shiro for similar reasons, with him bestowing that movement expansion to unit and pushing him to the right. You can push them one more time, and that gives you further range to have perfect turn 1 positioning. There are also some other minor suggestions, like debuff punishes, because he does have those debuffs. If you decide to attack him, just keep in mind if you're going to be attacking with him, he won't be able to pull anymore for the next turn, because he needs to miss in the previous turn. And Beach House rolls because, you know, I guess he punches debuffs. Lastly, I may actually suggest bringing someone who can actually provide a regular amount of anchor to your entire team, because usually anchor is not really relevant except for enemies having mechanics for challenge quests, but his pulling mechanics are quite disruptive for your own team as well. So you might want to consider that if you're thinking of a specific team or positioning that he keeps on interrupting. Alright, those are all my thoughts.
That's a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
We need head empty. This isn't head empty at all.
Well, it was the Balor part.
Oh. Yeah. Actually, in practice, I don't really know how I feel about Boogeyman's like pull mechanic in like the farming quest. I feel like it's helpful, but at the same time, it feels like, I don't know, sometimes I don't need a pull. So having to like switch like to him being attacking to like deny the pull is kind of like sort of interesting. Also kind of like, I don't know, should I really be thinking this much? Yeah. So I don't really know how I feel about the Boogeyman's pull mechanic just yet. At least I haven't found like a really, really helpful immediate use case right now. I mean, it probably is good. Like there's probably like some quests where it's extremely helpful, but not right yet, I think.
It's less that he's extremely helpful and more that he brings out the optimal case scenario for most units. Like, we always talk about, oh yeah, it gives a lot of HP or CP or such a high evasion rate if only you hit 5 units, and we always say that facetiously. But he actually makes it realizable, these optimal scenarios, is what I'm getting at.
Well, yeah, but it's usually like, I'm thinking about like, is there like a very specific like farming quest where I want to use him, and I really can't think of like the example, like the case right now. I don't really care about dungeons because dungeons are dungeons, but like maybe it's useful. I mean, in like a high difficulty quest that's coming up. That's basically my opinion. So yeah, I'm just kind of like on it. I think he does a surprising amount of damage without like any offensive buffs, but maybe that's just me.
I mean, I think Zalgus also felt the same way.
Yeah, but that was when that was before I realized after attacking fear.
Yeah,
Alright.
I think it might be because I was using League 5, and League 5 was giving like attack up. But yeah.
Elite 5 meta.
I mean, it's attack up and vigor. It's pretty strong, so maybe it is. Yeah. I kind of want to see like the after being hit CP depletion being exploited, like the steal, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
How?
it's like the other units we have that do that are like Slime and Yasuyori right now, so... Except he outright steals it instead of just directly just decreasing it. So, could have
I
use
feel
there.
like there's some like Mimi potential, maybe with like Licho 4 all range CS to give fear to everybody, but I don't know. All in all, I think he's just kind of like a interesting, but maybe not like a pull force sort of unit. Well, except like if
Well,
you, like,
he's permanent, so, you know, you might get him off the banner anyways. But I feel like after grading all these suggestions, I want him more just because there's a lot of units that I just would not want to use because, you know, I'm like, it's not 100% right. Well, I feel like Boogeyman makes a lot of cases where now it's closer to being able to you know, be effectively 100%. And not just like in optimal scenarios, but, you know, in everyday battles, so.
yeah. I think.
Else,
you can go.
No, you. I was gonna say something else completely different, so you go.
Oh, okay. Well, I think the issue that I had was that it didn't really like eliminate all the RNG in the starting position. There's like, you know, there's that really big edge case where like if you have a wide map and everybody's like in the columns furthest apart.
Jamboree experience.
Yeah. I do like the fact that you can like, you know, pull everybody to one side of the map, like the enemies, one side of the map. But yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like, there was a lot of conveyor belt mechanics that, you know, I've been tinkering in my head, but he pretty much just trivializes that all by himself by doing it.
Oh right, there's that cheese potential, right? Because he can like pull left, and the enemy can like want to pull right due to like taunt. You know that thing that you wanted to do?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he can do this.
So Boogeyman has meme potential too. Interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, you'll need to find someone who resists movement, whoever's pinning the border zone on your side, since they will be pulled too.
Yeah, you can just do like you can just use somebody like Triton, I think. I think he resists all force movement. But yeah. There's some people who have like native anger. So yeah.
Maybe that's why Boogeyman can't pull people on his team towards him, because if he's hiding in the back and you keep pulling them downwards, you are going to keep having to reposition someone front line.
Well, yeah, and that just benefits us, but, you know, thematically it doesn't make sense. It's in terms of, like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense thematically, but it works for us in the end, so whatever. I will not ask any more questions.
Oh. Yeah, I don't really get it, but yeah. Yeah. I also just think that his like pull is just kind of weird when it starts stacking in. People start moving diagonally and like colliding with each other. I don't really understand like the priority, but yeah.
Don't question it, just hope it works in the end. I know there are some cases where some units were pulled into the same square for whatever reason. Maybe they're confident that, you know, they bug fixed it or some shit, so therefore Boogeyman exists now. Because otherwise that would be like really shit if Boogeyman just brought everyone to one square. I mean, it'd be hilarious, but, you know.
Did they bug fix it for New Year's?
Yeah, wasn't there like one time where like enemies somehow overlapped one time? I forget.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the Ox quest. New Year's quest, I
Oh.
believe.
Oh yeah, that one.
I don't know if
But,
anyone
yeah.
tested that again though.
Maybe one day
Uh,
when it releases in the the Babel Tower.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised by how popular he was. He got like extremely popular.
I mean, he's
Boogeyman.
cute.
I mean, he's cute. But I didn't really expect like people to like be this passionate about it. I don't know. It didn't really like seem something. He didn't really seem too popular like when he was first revealed to me. So interesting.
He grew on me. I admittedly thought it was like, whoa, what the heck is that face? It looks like a meme. After his face was revealed. But then I was like, surprised that, you know, it kind of checks a few boxes for me in terms of, you know, the goosebump factor. A lot of people don't like it, but I like it, so it's like thumbs up for me.
What else is there? His voice is good though. He's
Yeah.
kinda cute.
Yeah, it's
His,
good.
like,
His voice
expressions.
actor is has quite the pedigree.
Oh right. Wasn't it like some famous?
Yes.
Was it like Ryu or somebody?
Yeah, he voices like Ryu and Hisoka and
Oh,
other
it's-
characters.
Hisoka.
Yeah.
Well, that's
who's-
why That's why I kept seeing people say Hisoka. I thought they were just saying that because he was like a creep or something.
And Hisoka's voice
I mean,
is quite different.
I mean, they're kind of different brands, if you will.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you have anything else to add, guys?
I actually didn't realize, like, when I first looked at his kit, I gave it a very, very cursory glance, and I wasn't paying attention to what it said, so I actually thought it was just pull the enemy team the entire time and pull allies up. So I didn't realize until I tested it that he actually sucks everyone in from everywhere. So it was actually quite amusing to see people
Yeah.
from the left-hand side.
That
get sucked
one
in,
difference
right?
makes him a lot stronger than just your generic pull towards the zone, I think.
yeah, pull left and
it's-
right it's very weird, but it's like interesting.
It's definitely a unique niche because I'm pretty sure no one, at least for allies, no one else does that in the game. So
Well, there's those like Jamboree Chiro that pushes them
well,
to the
yeah,
right.
that's just the one though.
But yeah, he makes it work because it's not just like some random pull, it's like towards him from everywhere, ever. So, but you've already heard me harp enough about why it's good, so.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing that I don't really see myself using often, except for maybe a one-off meme video, which I mean, it could be good.
I feel like
think
he might
that-
have a lot of uses now that Milk brought to my attention the fact that he can replace conveyor belt setups.
Yeah, I think the cheese might be really funny.
Seems like you'll be
Yeah.
a pain to plan though, because you have to also make sure that he's not moving your units all around into the wrong place.
You can like cancel it by having him attack, but yeah, there's somewhat of like a summer arachne element to him. It's like,
I've heard
You
from
have it.
people that it's kind of a nightmare to play with both on the board at the same time.
well, I mean, like summer arachne is kind of like weird in general, so
Yeah.
trying to do both is like, yeah, that's asking for trouble, really.
Yeah.
I don't really think that's Boogeyman's fault per se.
I kind of
Although
want to try it, just
I'm kind, yeah.
oh, you gave me a high difficulty quest? What if I give you one instead? It'd be stupid,
Okay.
but fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, if that's it, then I will go ahead and read the comments.
Did you say any ARs?
I did not suggest any ARs because it's just like I wasn't really going to plan with him to hit anyone, and I don't know. I also don't really see myself moving him either, so he's just going to be sitting there, to be honest.
I mean, that's fair.
Is the Astaroth Asti AR turn start or after moving? Turn start.
That
right?
is turn start, yeah. So it could be
It's
good, but
start.
I think the rage is like 2x3, so maybe. But he'll be at risk of being hit too. Like he doesn't.
I mean, like he's drawing people in, so it should be good, right?
Yeah, I mean, he already applies break to them in the end, so it's like, whatever. Break and fear and things like that. It could help though, I see what you mean. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and read the comments now, but I don't have any specific AR explanations if that's what you're asking about. No, I do not. Collect woods, whatever you're doing, Erbie. You can find the details probably in Summon. I think I wrote them there, but I will not say what they are here. The music slaps by Herbs, for sure. Ara, he has an attraction mechanic. Oh, he certainly does, in more ways than one, for sure. OMG, he saw it. Like, he's like hot in a way that's not what's called, like...
Conventionally attractive?
Yes, that's the term, conventionally. But it's like, you know, he grows on you and then you have nightmares about him and then he can't stop streaming about him. And anyways, also, he probably has much art and it's only been a few days. I saw them and I love how most of them are actually like horror based, but also like horror boner based too. The Delphification of the Boogeyman was not on my 2022 bingo, for sure. I think everyone was taken aback by the Boogeyman being a Housamo character, of all characters.
I was expecting based on my perception of the Boogeyman is created by the cartoon that I watched as a kid, The Grim Adventures of Bill and Mandy, where he's like this green goblin. So this was quite a surprise. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know if I'd say surprise, but I was at least expecting his face to be more off than it is.
Yeah, I remember Zalgus saying he wasn't interested in the Boogeyman whenever he came out, but it seems like everyone's changed their tune a bit.
Well, yeah, the assumption was that he was going to be some sort of goblin.
I don't think anyone's really depicted the Boogeyman as like attractive until now, so... I have a dream about him saying kawaii. Well, the way he says kawaii is really like filthy. I love it. If you haven't seen it, there's some videos of it in the Summon Court Zalgus. He scares me. Nice. Right? Exactly. Some people are just like, oh no, he's pretty... Well, you know, not specifically him, but characters like that in general. But that is a thing for me that I like. So, from what I understand, he can make enemies in a dungeon all get clustered in the center of the map. Yes. That'll be useful for like rolling... Well, you know, provided he's also in the center, if that's what you're gonna say with Milk. But,
Yeah, it's kind of like... You just have to see it for yourself. I don't know if like it like exactly clustered. Like it's not like he's just gonna suck completely in. It's like a bit more like weird. So yeah, you just have to test it for yourself and see what happens.
My experience the few times I used the support, and by the few times I mean the one time, is the long slash, the very first close range will be filled quickly, so it's gonna be full of most enemies, and there's gonna be like one or two enemies in the back row, and then probably nothing in the very back row.
Yeah, you have to test like a lot when it comes to his pull. I mean, it's fine if like you know what the formation is, but like in a random formation like dungeons, the pull is just gonna be weird. You have to like play. You have to like test a lot for that. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's slightly not as useful in the Kengo dungeon, but it might have its uses in the other ones. But that's not to say you should bring him for a mentor for that reason, because the mentor does not pull enemies, just keep that in mind. In fact, I struggle to find a reason to want to bring this in dungeons for his mentor ability, because it seems that, generally speaking, that pulling of allies ability seems more of a detriment than a benefit if you're doing a mentor run. So, well, that's just my intuition speaking. I never tried it, so.
I mean, I guess like if you overextend with dead, it could be like fine, but I don't really know.
I see. Maybe, I don't know. He's pulling everyone at ease since his chest has its own gravitational field. Those bongos of his having huge mass. Joey Wheeler. I don't know how to react to that. He completes the...
He's voiced by the same character. His voice actor also voices the Japanese version of Joey Wheeler.
Take that,
I don't really know the Japanese. I don't really know the Japanese VAs for Yu-Gi-Oh. I only know the 4Kids.
Yeah, I know that, and what's his face, Yami, because meme videos.
Yeah, same.
Oh, I know Monster Card or whatever.
Yeah, Monster Carder. Everyone loves that
Yeah.
video.
He completes the Kawaii trifecta with Tsukiyomi and Rhiannon, for sure. Except with different qualities of Kawaii. Pick your poison. I feel it's due to many aspects. His beard, his hairstyle, his body shape. Definitely his body shape. That's the perfect mix of muscle and chub. Yeah, I feel like there's chub lovers that I've seen on Sonic Chord, as well as muscle lovers like Hidden. Both seem to find the Boogeyman attractive. So he managed just not to, like, you know, unappeal to both, but rather appeal to both, which is nice. And finally, the horror motif he has, which has a huge attraction to a certain group. Yeah, that's me. I'm that group. Delph. And some more spam. Let me just...
Why does this spam kind of sound like Vor?
It knows its audience.
Jesus.
Also, upon looking at behind the voice actors, it appears that this voice actor it does not voice the modern Hisoka. That's voiced by like the one from the 2019 series is voiced by someone else. This guy voiced Hisoka back in like 1990, 2003ish. So it's actually a different one. But I mean, it's the same character, just different, like, re-release of the anime.
Interesting.
But yeah, he's definitely voiced a lot of people.
I love our voice actor cast. It's so, like, big name nowadays. But yeah, I will go ahead and conclude the discussion now, if that's alright with you guys.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Alright.
I mean, we have Pikachu right in this banner.
Yeah, but no, plus it's not too quickly when what's called his original event came out. Anyway, we are now done talking about all the ARs and units that have come out for this event. It was quite a ride, but I think we almost set our piece and are satisfied with this banner to some degree. Speaking of, what do you guys think of the banner? And overall this event?
I like this event. It kind of feels like a scraps Halloween event that they just put in Valentine.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I feel like it's more of a Halloween event than the Halloween Police was. What the heck?
I mean, at least it's not on the damn time slip or Colosseum.
Yeah, it actually seems rather dark or morbid compared to like previous Valentine events. Like, there seems to be a fair element of danger, I guess, in like the story, it seems. I mean, that's just one going off from like the backgrounds that, you know, get posted. What else is there? In kit wise, I think it's a pretty solid banner. I think the 5 stars aren't really as powerful as like Xmas Showdown's 5 stars.
I do
the
think
4 stars are
yeah,
pretty
sorry,
good.
Go ahead.
I actually think Itzamna is the one that I want the most kit wise, just because I think 50 CP and the 15x attack buff is pretty stupid. So yeah, that, and he pairs well with J Kagu. You can instantly charge him. So I don't really have any qualms about the getting his CP back. Yeah. For AR banner, I think I think I would just skip it. Like, the 5 stars are good, but I don't know. I don't really want the 4 stars, or like the characters aren't like my favorite either. So I have very low reason to pull for it.
The AR banner was kind of peculiar, and like we had such a good AR banner last time, and this one it was okay, I guess. I don't know. But
It's like good in the 5 stars, but the 4 stars just like kind of suck. So yeah.
Unless you max them, apparently.
Well, only the Kalki one.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the other one. I like this event. I kind of like gothic style. I don't know if that would really be the right way to describe it, but the battle theme I definitely like quite a lot. The like heavy violin, like how describe Gothic style, I suppose. I like that a lot. And just the theme of the variants is pretty interesting. I like the sort of fantasy sort of thing, which is weird saying in a fantasy game, but I don't know if you would call an isekai in Tokyo fantasy. Yeah, I like that a lot. And the unit banner, I appreciate that no one's like a dud pull this time, like Osei, as we mentioned, or Vanilla Ketchi for the previous banner. So yeah, no dud pulls, nice. Yeah, I pretty much kind of like everyone's kits. They're all fairly usable, and I could see myself using all of them here or there. The selection of characters, is whatever. I don't really have any attachment to any of them, but that's fine, I guess. I mean, I still pulled.
In a way, I kind of appreciated that. It's like usually they always have like one super popular character, and I guess they did this time with Balor, but everyone else was like, definitely in the
Boogeyman is also kind of super popular now too.
I mean, that's kind of different because he's a new character. I mean, like existing characters for variants. I'm just impressed by the fact that like pretty much the rest was not a big target audience, but instead just they had a small fan base each or something.
Well, actually, I think it was kind of like interesting to think about, like, I don't know, Housamo is probably like the only game where you can run a Valentine banner where it's just like 2 grandpas as like the bait units. It's like, yeah. And like, I mean, I guess Balor is kind of like cheating because he's like a muscle grandpa, but like it's still like 2 like senior citizens as like, the husbando hitters for people who are pulling.
People always call Itzamna grandpa, and maybe he is, but like I never got that impression until someone brought it up. I was like, I don't know, he just looks like a regular lizard to me.
I mean, it's in the voice.
He's definitely super old. Yeah.
He seems regular to me, but maybe that's just me.
I
Also,
think like the way
his
he
outfit.
talks. I think the way he talks to people is also like very old. Like he calls people like Nushi or whatever. It's like very archaic.
Okay, sure, but I don't understand Japanese, so it's fine.
Yeah, well, when I look at his outfit, which is like a old Chinese sage's robe, like his vanilla outfit, that definitely makes me think this person's probably old.
I put that up as, he's being like an artsy, weird person like all artists are because he's an art teacher. But
also his voice is really old to me. But yeah.
Yeah, his voice definitely is what screams.
Okay, I get it.
old
I'm
man
missing
to
all
me.
the cues. Jeez. It's just like, I don't really see oldness if it's like fucking a lizard and, like...
He's his big-ass white beard, yeah.
No. Yeah, I actually only noticed his beard in his variant. I was like, did he always have that beard? I was like, oh yeah, he did. I guess he did. But yeah. My thoughts on that banner are... Did you give your thoughts already, Zalgus?
I gave my thoughts on the units, but not the ARs. The ARs are... Oh yeah, one thing is I really like the art for a lot of the units in this event, or a lot of the things in this event. Mainly Itzamna and the Bael Astaroth AR, because they have some really nicely rendered food. Itzamna's got like really nice shiny cakes and stuff, and Bael Astaroth has the various tea jugs that are really nice looking.
Also, I'm just really... Like, I'm excited for whenever the Smith gets translated, because I wouldn't have realized it otherwise, but I guess I could have inferred it, but from Itzamna's art, we can see leaked Benten and Kuniyoshi all together, and it seems that they're going to have more hijinks in this event, so...
Well, they appear as bonus units, so they probably do.
I was going to say to you that there's an awful lot of leaked content these days.
Year of the Tiger, what? It's Year of the Leaked.
I was going to say to you that there's an awful lot of leaked content these days.
No, I heard that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy for that. Hopefully that trend continues, but it seems that they're also continuing the trend of more cats, like Catchy being relevant again. I wonder if we'll ever get an event without a cat, but we'll just have to wait for that. Alright.
A cat is fine too.
Exactly.
It's like just him fully standing, because he's like so small. and like other characters, you can't just stand. They just
Oh,
can't
yeah.
stand up.
The camera's just pointing. It's a worm's eye or a bird's eye view almost.
It's like you never notice it until the camera does some sort of funny gag with it. But Ketchy's special cast was also like that. He gets lost on ground and you have to lift him up or some shit like that. But yeah, my thoughts on the banner is Balor's hot, Boogeyman's hot. I'm sad I didn't get either. At least I got Arc, but that's me sipping my copium. And I got Itzamna at least, which, you know, I was not nearly as hyped as for him as pretty much all of you guys were. But, like, I'm using him, and he seems quite strong. I don't know if I'll be using him in my regular teams, but it's another option to have. That's nice. And for the ARs, like, I kind of just pulled because I always pull for ARs, but I can't really see myself really remembering to use them in the future. I only got the Kalki one anyways in the end. And thoughts for the event overall. I like the theme. It's very Halloween-esque for Valentine, like I mentioned before. And yeah, I don't know. Fairy tale exploration has like is pretty cool. Like, I like the Shrek movie, and I liked how it explored different fairy tales like that. So maybe it'll be like that too. But I won't see the story for a long time. So who's to say?
Well, maybe it'll be a year because Valentine Coliseum got.
I mean, you say that, but then it's like last year they just didn't translate anything for Valentine Coliseum. So it's like,
Well, you just have to huff opium.
pain. Okay. I think that's all our
Yeah,
thoughts.
I'm kind of excited to read this story in English too. So.
Yeah, right. Lots of
seems
characters,
good.
and I'm just, you know, I love any translation of Leaked with his friends. Like, as much as I love Leaked, I feel like he best shines when he's with his friends being an idiot with them.
Yeah, they seem to appear, so you're probably gonna get plenty of that.
More strangulation of Leaked by his friends, please. Anyways, I'm gonna go read out the comments now and then close the stream. Oh, already done. Thank you everyone for the stream. Have a good day. You too. Somebody maybe said this already, but Arc is the first female transient that isn't Nether or Ether type. Please read this. Sorry I'm late. Well,
I believe they
Hey.
mean 5-star. I believe they mean 5-star.
that's not the part I'm being
let's say.
about.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know. But yes, Arc is the first non-male 5-star that isn't, or yeah, non-male 5-star that isn't Nether or.
I mean, I would
Ether
also
type.
say calling Arc non-male, but you know, Arc is Arc. Whatever.
Yes.
Arc is neither male or female nor smell. I mean, that's not necessarily true, but I really don't want to get into it. It's like, Arc is Arc.
It's a headache. Yes.
Anyway, thank you for joining us, everyone. It was fun, but it was also, this is our first 3-hour stream encroaching into 4 hours. What the fuck? This is our longest stream yet. Jesus Christ.
I mean, after I was kind of rushing Ketchi, and then after Erbie left, you kind of just went all out on Boogeyman.
All out as in I talked too long, or all out as in I tried to speak faster? Because
Well,
I tried to speak faster.
Well, Erbie left at 8 o'clock. I mean, not 8 o'clock. The
6.
whatever.
Okay, we can talk about this after we close the stream. Thank you for joining us, guys. We're heading out, and we'll see you in the next stream. Goodbye.
Hey, bye.
Oh, wait.
Bye.
3, 2, 1. Bye.